person or remotely with your computer, tablet, or smartphone. All participants are asked to remain on mute unless speaking to ensure clear audio for all the rest of the attendees. Join online, it's https://meet.go-to.com/Sturbridge/concom. Dial in 1-872-240-3311. Access code is 595-36797. Okay, we have attendance starting on my right.
Gravel here.
Eric Gaspar here.
Ed Goodwin here.
Sandra Mano present.
Okay. With that, call the meeting to order, and we don't have any barn walk-ins?
We do.
We do.
We do. Okay, all right. Citizen input, well, where's the citizen?
Oh, you guys can come up here. Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear us? We're Paul and Sheila McCarthy. We own 32 Mount Dan, and I know you guys are going to speak about it tonight. Just here to say we're really embarrassed about the whole situation, and we've spoken with Lori. Are you? Thank you, Lori. Lori's very helpful, and we've kind of been brought up to where we need to be on the things that we need to do to move forward. Wasn't really aware that we couldn't remove those trees that were in the back. They were all mostly pine trees, and we're dropping very large limbs on us. And we've had a friend who passed away from being hit by a limb before. So anyway, we just wanted to come and let you know that we feel horrible about it, and
whatever we need to do.
And she has sent the forms and things over, and the people to get in touch with for the native plantings and things that we need to do. And I know you're going to have discussion, and we'll do a lot more. But we just wanted you to know kind of where we were.
Yeah.
Great, thank you for coming in.
All right. Thank you.
Who was the, who took them down?
We have a person that does stuff for us, but they kind of had subbed it out.
Who took them down?
I'm not sure the people who did. The people that we use are Sweetscapes.
Or what?
Sweetscapes.
It's a company.
It's a company.
Lauren, do you have? I mean, I have some questions, but
I think I definitely appreciate you coming in and kind of addressing this too. But we'll work with you guys to work towards a mitigation plan that we can present for the commission that everyone can kind of agree upon for steps to move forward. And now you know the process. And
I also wanted you to know, in those pictures that you're looking at, they had chipped up trees, you know, the aerial views on the second and third one. They had chipped up some trees from the neighbors and from like some of our space, so that what kind of looks like barren land in that is chips from the tree limbs and stuff. It's not like bare soil or anything.
Right.
you know, thank you.
All right, thank you for coming in.
Okay.
Did you say your
so
question?
yeah. I mean, my larger concern. I get that when you first come into the town, sometimes you don't know the regulations. Sometimes slip ups. But my grander concern is around the entity that took these trees down. There's no way that they weren't aware of the regulations. So I understand maybe your resistance to sharing with us the information, but I personally would be very interested in knowing and allowing the public to know who's working in the town of Sturbridge. Mm-hmm. I would seriously doubt that they're not aware of the regulations. And I personally would like to make sure that we send them the appropriate documentation and information so this never happens again. Because the simple fact of the matter is that it's ultimately your responsibility,
Yeah.
which is terrible.
Totally.
But the
Totally agree with
your professionals put you in this spot because they didn't provide all the information. And hopefully other residents in the future won't be put in the same spot, because I have empathy for you, how you're supposed to know. But the companies absolutely positively should know, and they should not be acting in this way. You know, Sweetscapes is from Southbridge, so they absolutely know that this is not permitted activity inside of the town of Sturbridge. And they're probably also aware that we have the enhanced buffer zone of 200 feet. So I'd be really interested in finding out who was subbed out that job, so we make sure that we get them the proper information and admonishment to make sure that they are aware that this is not accepted in the town of Sturbridge.
Eric, you raise a really good point too, and actually, Bill, our building inspector, and I were actually talking about this exact topic today of a property owner hires a contractor to do a job. You don't know the rules. You don't know what permits you need to pull for the most part. You just trust that the person that you hire is going to take those steps. And we see it all the time of just work that's getting done where the proper permits weren't pulled, and the homeowner is kind of the one that ends up on the hook for it. It's unfortunate. But we can try and do some outreach.
I think we might need to do a little bit more outreach. I'm not necessarily sure that they did know. Some companies, especially, I don't know Sweets personally, but I do know that they're an up-and-coming company. I know they touch on tree work and stuff. It's possible, they just don't understand. Like, you know, if it's on the back side of the house, it looks like a lot of these could have been in a different spot. One thing to know is that we really can't do anything to them, so it's not that we're trying to, but we really want to make sure that every contractor out there knows this, so that this doesn't happen to you or any other homeowner here. I mean, I think that's really a huge, at least from my angle, a big thing that I think we need to do. And it's possible they just didn't know. I mean, whoever they had subbed out, because of the size and stuff, you would assume that they do know what they're talking about. So I would just kind of like to say that at the same time, the hope that people aren't doing it with malice is what I'm trying to say. That makes sense.
Well, the pond doesn't care.
The pond doesn't care, exactly. So but I want to also just make sure that
Or,
people can understand to come to us, and we're not gonna,
you know, so.
absolutely.
Anything else?
No, thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
I really do.
Thank you.
All right. Carol, what the heck?
Oh, I thought you were just coming to hang out.
No, she
And now you two have to listen to me.
brought us some light reading.
I like it a lot.
Thank you. Okay, I'm Carol Goodwin, Chair of the Open Space Committee. This is Hugh Brower, he's on our committee. Our other members are Becky Jondro, Dina Sexton, and Lynn Peterson, who, they couldn't come tonight. No offense. But thank you for having us here to present the 2025 Sturbridge Open Space and Recreation Plan. As you know, in Massachusetts, the Conservation Commissions, with the assistance of the conservation agent, are responsible for protecting and local land, water, and biological resources. Their core duties focus on administering the State Wetlands Protection Act and managing town-owned conservation land, forests, wildlife refuges, while maintaining public access, trails, and conservation restrictions. They help develop and implement long-range open space and recreation plans, identify crucial land parcels for the town to acquire for natural resource protection. They also advise other municipal bodies, like planning boards and zoning committees, zoning boards of appeals, on the environmental impacts of proposed developments and conservation issues. Now, we recommend that the Conservation Commission use the Open Space and Recreation Plan as a tool to evaluate your ecological options in all you do for our town. The policy options will help create a network of waterways, wetlands, woodlands, wildlife habitats, and other natural areas that support native species, maintain natural ecological processes, sustain our water resources, and contribute to the health and quality of life. This network is intrinsic to attaining the goals of the Open Space Plan, which are resource protection, community and habitat preservation, recreation opportunities for residents and visitors, and the preservation of the town's character. Now, the Open Space and Recreation Plan gives us pertinent information gathered through multiple resources available on how to fulfill the recreational needs, the acquisitional requirements to protect our water sources and habitats and the quality of life in Sturbridge. The Conservation Commission has been consistently working with the Trail Committee on our parcels too. Now, we are a community with a healthy mix of housing, commercial, and industrial development and preserved open space. This plan gives us a roadmap to acquiring critical open space lands to protect our groundwater resources, habitat areas, and the quality of life in Sturbridge. Now, as you know, Sturbridge has many water resources to be protected. Wetlands, wetland resource areas, great ponds, lakes, rivers, vernal pools, wetland complexes, perch land, small ponds, and perennial and intermittent streams. In Section 4 of the Open Space Plan, the environment analysis provides the Conservation Commission with a substantial information source for their purview. There are 2 wetland resources maps on page 24 and 28. Also, on page 43, a biodiversity map, and on page 42, a resilient land map, and also on page 31, a flood zone map from FEMA. So they're all in there. In Section 8, in the analysis of needs, the preservation of the rural character of the town, the preservation of forests and woodlands, and the protection of water quality and resources were the highest ranked as the reasons to preserve open space by those who participated in the townwide survey. We encourage the Commission to promote the planting of trees, the reducing of pavements, the preserving of water quality, and the reducing of flooding through stormwater management to provide opportunities to improve project siting and design, as well as to retrofit existing development to reduce its impacts through the addition of trees and other natural landscaping. Going forward, the Open Space and Recreation Plan suggests a 10-year action plan involving the various boards and committees. I'd like to introduce Hugh Brower, who will address some of the goals and action items concerning the Conservation Commission.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hugh Brower from the Open Space Committee, and I'm going to talk with you tonight about a few of our objectives and goals based on the Open Space and Recreation Plan, and I'm going to start on page 111 with objective 2.3, which is titled Certify More Vernal Pools in the Town of Sturbridge. As the Commission is no doubt aware, vernal pools are a special type of wetland resource that has extra protection from the state wetlands and often from local wetlands regulations because these pools have a vital biological function and they're not often connected to other resources like wetlands and waterways. So as a result, it's very important that they be certified. Otherwise, it may be difficult to preserve them if they're not shown on maps properly, so that people are aware when they're bringing applications to the Commission that they need to protect the vernal pools additionally. So we're talking about an action of certifying additional vernal pools, develop monitoring kits, engage schools and citizen scientists. And that can involve the schools and the Conservation Commission as well. We're also talking about working with schools or citizen scientists to collect and submit documentation for certification through Mass Wildlife's Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program, NHESP. This is something that anyone can do. Anyone can certify a vernal pool if they know the criteria and they submit it to the proper agencies, and that will then have it added to the maps so that it will be there when applicants go to look for wetlands resources for a project. Also, we're suggesting to continue to update the townwide inventory of potential vernal pools using mass GIS layers, aerial imagery, and local field observations. So even before a vernal pool can be certified, it's still helpful to know where the potential vernal pools are, because that alerts people that they need to show extra care when they're working in and around that area. And also develop a vernal pool monitoring kit available through the Conservation Commission or library, because vernal pools have species that are not found in other wetlands areas. And so things like frogs that require some protection, once you develop a monitoring kit, you're going to be able to determine the health of the vernal pool and if there's any issues with its health and the species that are living in it. Next is for controlling invasive species, which would be develop an invasive species management plan, train volunteers, and a public education campaign. Now, as the Commission's aware, invasive species are a problem in vernal pools as they are in other resource areas. So species can be things like Phragmites, bittersweet, knotweed, a whole bunch of them. And it's often beneficial to try to control them and possibly even remove invasive species to help the resource area, the overall health of the native plants and other species that inhabit it. Next, for Objective 2.4, we're talking about expanding tree planting efforts. Obviously, conservation deals with when people want to take trees down, and Sturbridge has a very good approach for mitigation, telling people who want to take trees down in a resource area or a buffer zone that they need to mitigate it, oftentimes by doing more plantings. So continuing that work with private property owners to plant trees that could reduce the carbon footprint, cool lakes and impervious surfaces, and mitigate stormwater runoff. One of the helpful aspects by planting trees here is when you get streams that are used as fish habitat, where the fish spawn in the stream, if you're adding additional tree cover to that stream, you're reducing the temperature of it, which will help the fish species in their spawning and make it healthier for them, and they'll be able to continue living in that stream and spawning future times and future years. Then for the town, we want to work to regain status as Tree City USA, which is a national designation. If a town meets certain criteria, they're able to have that designation. And so we would want to work with the tree warden to be able to gain that status once again. That's good for the town. It shows that we're environmentally responsible to do that. Next goal would be increase public awareness on caring for existing trees using best management practices. And that means not necessarily just taking down a tree because maybe it's got a little bit of a problem. If you can trim a tree, or if you can help by maybe taking down other trees close to the tree that are hurting it or causing it to not grow properly, that's another possibility. Conduct public education on the importance of trees and their function in terms of carbon sequestration and helping to clean the air that we breathe, and also helping to keep the soil healthy and in place. Next objective would be 2.5, work to minimize and eliminate invasive species and promote the planting of native species throughout town. There are issues with when people bring in species that are not native, and they can have an impact on existing native species. So it's better and healthier for the ecosystem to have native species primarily. So we're talking about developing a list of native and prohibited plantings and make it available online for developers and residents to easily reference during the design of a project. Also talking about developing an invasive species management plan for the town's open space areas. train and use volunteers for invasive species management on conservation areas. So like we discussed, those various plant species that tend to take over if they're not managed properly, that would be something that we would want to be able to control on the town's open space and conservation land. Next would be increased public awareness of invasive species through a public education campaign as to the negative value of allowing those to expand unchecked. Next would be goal number 3, work to expand open space to protect sensitive lands and expand green corridors. And the objective is to identify properties adjacent to existing open space areas that would expand green corridors, protect mapped critical natural landscape, and biomap core habitat areas and groundwater protection. Now, Carol has a very large map that she brings to our meetings that shows all of this. So it's a map of the town, and it shows where the existing open space and conservation areas are. And then she shows adjacent properties that are potentially beneficial if the town were to acquire those. So we look at those and say, that's kind of our list of if we have the opportunity to get one of those and expand the protection for an open space or a conservation area, that's something good to do. So we're talking about reviewing those maps, identifying the properties. We're trying to protect things including stormwater management, water quality protection, wildlife and habitat corridors, because we know that wildlife move between various parcels, and greenway connections. So that helps the wildlife and it helps people too. Identify properties that will assist the Trails Committee in meeting its goals of ensuring access from neighborhoods to open spaces and trails. So again, if you have a property that has trails on it and the town can acquire a neighboring property, they can expand the trails into additional property, additional land. Work to preserve any remaining farmlands within the town by working with property owners to help identify programs that may assist them with long-term viability. So that also is an advantage. If we have farms operating in town, that's less land that's being taken out of service and potentially used for building. So if we can't have it as open space, having it as farming is perfectly acceptable and it helps the town. Conduct an outreach campaign to owners of high-priority properties next to existing conservation areas to encourage donation of land or conservation restrictions. And that's been done successfully in town with a number of properties, so that properties have been offered to the town to purchase, or sometimes the property owners will offer a conservation easement so that the property won't be developed, but it will remain in the hands of the property owner. And this is often cheaper for the town to just buy the conservation easement as opposed to acquiring the entire property. Another goal is to identify parcels where a pollinator habitat could be implemented, and that can be in an open space area where potentially planting certain types of plants and flowers will help the pollinators. And lastly, continue efforts to acquire the Barrett Farm and Dowdy Road properties if the opportunity arises, which, as we know, has been successfully accomplished by the town. So that's going to be a great area up there on Dowdy once it's fully up and running and operational with trails and everything. But even then, it's a great place to go up and watch the sunset on any given day. So thank you for listening.
And additionally, there's some action items on page 108, 109, 110, and 111. And most of those, they're to enhance groundwater protection efforts, particularly around our wells within the groundwater protection district, and where to acquire these properties where available. I really feel like we can't protect our wells, and I don't think we're protecting them enough. We're not aware of where they are, and I think it's really an important thing, particularly when we always have water bans, and there's obviously concerns about water. And then on pages, and so that's all kind of detailed through this. I won't read it all to you. And also, there's some action items on page 121 under goal number 10.1 and 10.2 concerning the management of open space, trails, and forests. So there's an awful lot in here for conservation. Lucky you. So, but you're really important, and you're the people who do the work. So The completion of the open space plan enables the town to take full advantage of state grants and programs that enhance our ability to acquire open space in order to preserve the rural character of the town, preserve the forests and woodlands, protect water quality, water resources, wildlife, and historic assets, and create active and passive recreation. And I know I'm repetitive here, but I don't think we can hear it enough. This is like all of our responsibility, and the connectivity between boards is really important, and I think we can be that connective link if you choose to listen to us. So there isn't a board in our community that recognizes the value of our natural resources more than the Conservation Commission. You always are out in the field and addressing concerns. We look forward to more interaction from the boards and committees of our community for help with the prioritization of open space parcels based on water resources and habitat areas. You are the ones that see it all. You're out in the field, and it's a lot of work for you. So we count on you to give us the information of anything that you think is really important. So the Open Space Committee would like to thank the Conservation Commission and the past and present conservation agents, Lauren Vivier and Becky Jondro, for their support and technical assistance. We also want to express our sincere thanks to our town planner, Jean Bavon, and her assistant, Janae Lacey, for the determination to leave Sturbridge, and particularly in Jean's case, with a 10-year plan and in an optimum position for Sturbridge to be successful in the future to meet our goals. So that's it, and if you have any questions, we'll be happy to take them. Thank you.
Yes, very good.
For the residents, is there an online document that they can go and?
Yes, it's online. It is.
Right here, I'm on the website. If you go to the town's website and you go to government and you go to Open Space Committee, it's right here, 2025 Open Space and Recreation Plan.
And everything's here, the survey, the forum results, everything is in here.
Maps.
So that's why it's so big. And, you know, there are a lot of questions asked, a lot of graphs. Then, of course, we have all the maps. And I'm also, there are maps, big maps around too, that we always, planning usually has them, and Laurie has them too, I'm sure. So, but I'm going to be a little bit more specific on some of them too than that. We had to limit the report because they changed the format in the middle of it all. So it was a little bit difficult for, Jean went through a lot. She really did. It was a labor of love for her, so.
Do we have you all to thank for the meeting on the 10th, where they're going to be having an open discussion around
Yeah, we
what's
talked to
going on?
Jean, feels very passionately about it, and we feel the same way.
Well, I mean, I think this is a easy forum for you guys to come in front.
for those that
Obviously,
don't know.
we're here
Got the flyer.
to protect the watershed and conserve wherever we can. But I can tell you that there's a lot of concern from people that I talk to each and every day or every week around the regulations and the motion to conserve things as opposed to really support the youth and the family in this town. So I would encourage you to go into some of those more dangerous spaces.
No, well, we had a
and go
lot
and
of
talk
that.
to the youth sports organizations and what your plan, because I know it's everybody's intention to support the youth and support the families, but I can tell you because people know I'm on the Conservation Commission, so, and I'm kind of a loud person anyway, they feel like they can approach me and just say, you guys like to stop things, but you don't like to support moving the town forward and supporting families.
But,
So,
yeah.
and
I understand. We had a
We just need
forum,
to-
and there was a lot of recreation people there.
Yes.
And we really
The most that
addressed a
recreation's
lot
ever
of
been
it.
involved.
I mean, we unfortunately, when these things get voted on at town meeting, and I say it over and over again, you have to show up. You can't, we had a wonderful plan.
See you every
All
year,
the-
Karen.
All the, yeah. No, but we had a wonderful plan a number of years ago, probably 2017, 18, something like that, 19. It was 3 fields down on town land in central, town. And It was all, I think, a couple $100,000 was spent, and we missed it by 7 votes, because it was, borrowing. So you need a 2/3 majority. And people stay home, they don't bring their wives, they don't get a babysitter. You have to do that to get these sports fields passed, because not everybody wants them. There's just, it's complicated.
You're not going to get arguments from me. I'm
No,
just
I'm just saying,
encouraging,
that
I'm
is
just
why we
encouraging you
have
to
the
go
need.
into some
Yeah.
of the more
No, we know
difficult
this.
spaces, because this is a favorable forum.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to be supportive of this.
Yeah,
but there's-
well, we're going to
there's
rec.
There's other corners of this town that I'm
We
sure
have-
they're in everybody else's ear as well. It's not just me.
Yeah, we're going to recreation, so, yeah.
Well, what I would add here is, in my old town, I was on conservation, and we had the exact same thing. There was like people who wanted soccer fields and didn't want open space, but we convinced them that acquiring open space under a certain statute would allow part of it to be used for soccer fields. So we made it a joint project and say, I'm willing to vote for soccer fields, please be willing to vote for the open space, because it's not a us versus them thing, it's a work cooperatively thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the Dowdy property, there's an opportunity there to kind of be that bridge.
Absolutely.
So I'm on June 10th, right, is the,
Yes.
is the meeting?
June 10th, Wednesday, June 10th at 6 PM at Town Hall, we're holding a public forum to discuss the Dowdy Road Master Plan. Everyone is welcome to attend to share your ideas of things that you think should go there, possibilities. We'll talk about the challenges of what may limit any type of development, any opportunities that already present themselves, connectivity, but it's a really good opportunity to get your voice heard for what you think that we could do. And it's a very large parcel with a lot of possibilities, so encouraging a lot of people,
And
to
of
come.
course, I'll be in Dallas, so I can't join. So, Nick, you'll have to speak up for me.
There will be a lot of people speaking up.
I'm sure there will.
Yeah, they've all been informed and everything. We're making sure, even the butters and everything. So it's very important that everyone has their say. We feel very strongly about Gene.
It'll
does
be
too.
similar to the forum we did for the open space plan, where we're breaking people into different groups so we can kind of hear more voices in smaller crowds and kind of separate everyone, so. And we've had a lot of RSVPs already, so.
That's great. That's good. Thank you.
Notes?
Flora knows all about us, so she was on our committee, as is Lauren, so.
Laura and I were both on open space. Becky and I traded places,
Yes.
and now
I
I'm
lost
working here.
2 good members.
It's also great to
Sadly.
see of the goals that are already there, some of them that we've already been able to check off, so we did regain
Yeah.
our
We are a
Tree
Tree City,
USA.
by the
Yeah, we
way.
got the Tree
Yeah.
City USA
Yeah.
status
We get
back.
that already.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
very
are
good.
that.
We're working
That just
on with
happened.
the library and some other organizations to try and get vernal pool monitoring kits.
We can get kids involved in
Lot.
this, too. I was on the recycling committee, and we would have the 5th and 6th graders come down, and it was such a learning experience. They taught their parents. This is way back when, in 1988. And, the head of the Board of Health went to the schools. And, we should be, it's hard, everyone's so busy, and so it's hard to do all this outreach, but it's important. So anytime you feel moved or want to work with us in any which way, it would be awesome, because what you do protect things. You're not trying to harass people, you're just trying to protect a resource. And they have to understand that, I suffer through it with you, believe it or not, so, that's how it is. It's hard. But we all live in this world, and we all breathe the air, and we all drink the water. So that's,
No arguments here.
yeah. Freddie has to listen to this all the time.
Anyone else? Seeing none, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Careful driving home. Actually, what you should do is just go over Jamie's and have a drink.
I'll go with Jamie's. No, I'm going home. Thank you.
Want me to open it up? Ed?
Yes, please.
In the interest of saving time, the Sturbridge Conservation Commission will hold all public hearings tonight for work within a wetland, water body, or resource area and/or within the 200-foot buffer zone to a wetland, water body, or resource area in accordance with the Mass Wetland Protection Act, MGL, Chapter 131, Section 40, and associated regulations, and the Town of Sturbridge Wetland Bylaws and associated regulations. We will not be reading the newspaper ad. Prior to the opening of the first hearing for each project, the applicant is to submit proof of notification to abutters within 200 feet of the subject property line, and proof of the legal newspaper advertisement. If these items are not submitted, the public hearing will not open. Additionally, prior to the start of each public hearing, we will announce the location of the project, the applicant, and the applicant's representative. If any of the visitors have not legibly signed in yet, please do so. Also, if any visitors are recording this meeting, please let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, Art. We are now at 6 o'clock. Open the public hearing for the request for determination of applicability for 1 New Boston Road extension.
Good evening. I'm Heather Blakely, the DPW Director here in the town of Sturbridge. This is a project that is located obviously at our DPW site on New Boston Road Extension. It is for the replacement of our current fuel system, including the removal of our underground storage tanks, replacing them with above-ground storage tanks. Ty and Bond is here. They are our engineering representative for this project. They have done the design and including the RDA. So I'll let Megan go ahead.
Hi, yes, I'm Megan McKiernan with Ty and Bond, representing Sturbridge DPW. And so we are proposing the replacement of the storage tanks because the existing underground storage tank had a leakage detected within the interstitial space, so the space in between the double-walled area. So when this leak was detected, a temporary above-ground storage tank was put in place, all within the paved lot there of the Sturbridge DPW facility located at 1 New Boston Road Extension. And so now we are proposing the replacement of underground storage tanks with permanent above-ground storage tanks. We are here because there's a bordering vegetated wetland to the east of the project site, about 90 feet away. So that puts this project within the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW in accordance with the Mass Wetlands Protection Act, as well as a locally jurisdictional 200-foot buffer zone to BVW. There's also bordering land subject to flooding outside of the project purview. And again, those buffers are much outside of the project purview, but that is to the east and to the west of this project site. Definitely beyond the limits of work. And as far as protective measures go, we will put in erosion and sedimentation controls, such as straw wattles, catch basin inlet filters, and these will remain in place throughout the project, inspected regularly, cleaned and replaced as necessary, and until the ground has been stabilized, AKA the pavement has been laid down again. These will be in place until then. There will also be no soil stockpiled within that 100-foot buffer zone, and there will be no significant adverse impacts to resource areas at, near, around the project site. And yeah, I guess that is the overview of our project.
You all were able to see it with us just earlier this week, so you were familiar with the site. So basically right where we were standing, and any all the work would actually be where we were standing or further to the west of where we were standing. So we were actually the closest impact that we would ever have been. Just based on where we stood, because we stood on the edge of the tanks looking.
Totally.
Given the history of this particular area with the leak, obviously this is a much needed project and repair. I think the only potential concern is what we might find when we dig up, which hopefully is not too bad, that it's beyond containment. Obviously with this being a town project, we have a lot more involvement and oversight, and we'll receive any type of reporting a lot easier than we would if it were, commercial property. So I'm not worried about cooperation being a problem here. I'd just like to see this get done smoothly, cleanly, and hopefully no big problems come uncovered.
Thank you.
I'm good. I mean, the project needs to be done, so
It's pretty straightforward.
straightforward.
It'll be the project, where you move it from, it'll be covered.
Any
Sorry.
contaminated soil, any of the soil will be
Yes,
covered.
yes, absolutely.
Dumb question, but I just,
It's a
Absolutely.
good question. It's
important.
not a dumb question.
Yes, very important.
Okay, that's the only thing I got. You get?
Do you want to ask if there was a
Audience
leak?
like to speak to this? Beg your pardon?
Do you want to ask if there was a leak?
Oh, jeez. You're not nice.
Yeah, that's right. Was it-
A double wall, right?
Oh, we found
Yeah,
it's in a
actually-
double wall.
No, it's actually, they,
My house
they
is-
think it actually went out.
Went out from it, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure how much.
Oh, did it?
It needs
That's
to be.
completely shut down. They characterize the site. They don't find any additional contamination now that we removed it, and there's not any additional leak. You know, they put their wells in and did their monitoring, but we're good. That was a different consultant, but,
Okay.
yeah, not you guys.
Anybody in the audience like to speak to this question? Seeing none?
I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor?
With regards to the project at 1 New Boston Road Extension, SCC file number 26-88, I'd like to make a motion to issue a negative determination for the project pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act and Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions as noted below.
Second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor? Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You can approve it under the bylaw.
Oh, sorry. We have to do it twice? I thought I did it. I said the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw, didn't I? I thought I covered us.
You did. Okay,
I said both.
perfect.
Yeah. I figured I would slip it in.
Okay, it's in there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You put it in there, and I
I
was
did
like,
put it in there.
works out better.
Meeting's moving on.
Moving on.
Right.
Yeah.
I continue the public hearing for notice of intent for 23 Old Hamilton Road. Owner is Abu Baker. Representative Joseph Bellino. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Okay. So, the biggest changes that we've provided a construction detail using, for the staircase, using helical screw piles. So that is virtually, it's just really no, it's just, I had it done, I had a sunroom put on my home, and they support the structure on the outside, screwed into the ground, it's the steel support system. The bottom of the, each landing will have a, let's assume it's pressure treated, will have an anchor plate which will rest on top of the helipile screw rod, and they'll be on each landing. I think the other picture shows, the other attachment shows it a little better. Yeah, so you can see where each landing is. There'll be the helical screw piles. It's just kind of like a ice fishing auger, basically drilling a hole. I'm sure you know if you're familiar with it. Drill a hole. There's no excavation. There's no. It's just pretty as good as you can get. They're very expensive to do, but we certainly want to. We don't want to have any issues with erosion to the lake. And this is state of the art. Construction methodology for this type of staircase system. And we got, through McClure Engineering, he got the detail from Edward Martinet from, he's in South Carolina. He specifically does, I guess he does a lot of work, a lot of design work for these type of projects, not just staircases, but other types of structures. So that's how we're going to do it. So the only real excavation would be for probably the upper landing. I don't think we'll need I don't think we'll need a pile for that, but if we do, it'd probably be for the landing on top. Maybe there'll be, you know, for that landing, maybe, I'm not sure, I'll have to confirm it, but let's just say for the sake of discussion, we'll have 3 sets of helipiles for those 3 landings, the top, the middle, and then as the other one was shown on the detail. We have removed the beach from the plan. We're not, we'll discuss that at another time. See what Dr. Mahmood wants to do with that. But he really wants to get this project going, which again, just to recap, is the attached garage, 24 by 24, I believe, making the rear patio larger. It is an existing slab, no deck. There is a cantilever deck on the upper level, but that's existing. That was existing when he bought the home. Making the front patio a little bit bigger. There's an existing 3x4. I think it's going to go to 4x5. And what else do we have? We've added the erosion controls around the proposed garage. We've added a line at the toe slope. Probably be straw wattles, either silt fence, straw wattles, or both. We don't anticipate any issues with erosion. I think there's anything else. And Dr. Mahmood has also removed a couple things just to clean up some items. The pile of debris that I know the commission has expressed concern, and I've shared with Dr. Mahmood that, you know, he had every intention to remove that material. My understanding is it's been removed. I want to say it was probably a few weeks ago.
About a month ago.
About a month ago, so that's all cleaned up. In addition to that, we both looked at the, thank you, Lori, for sending me the planting plan from Mr. Montigny. I attempted to reach him on several occasions. He didn't return any of my calls. And all I wanted to do was to speak to him, because we were trying to find if there was any documentation. Because I want to say midsummer 2023, Dr. Mahmood hired him through working with the previous agent, Rebecca, I forget her last name. She was the agent, and I think she kind of helped him secure his services. He did a number of plantings, probably 35, 37, a mixture of trees, native trees and shrubs. I don't know if there were that many cut, but regardless, Dr. Mahmood hired Mr. Montigny to do the work. He completed the work, and the plantings seemed viable. They all had ribbons, still had ribbons, a majority of them had ribbons on them. Dr. Mahmood provided pictures to the commission to show that the plantings are viable approximately 2 years later. It's just a little bit difficult when, I try to reach Mr. Montigny, doesn't return my calls. I don't know if he's interested, not interested. And the previous agent is not the agent anymore. I'm not sure. I asked Lori, on a couple of occasions, is there any correspondence in the file that maybe, somebody went out and did an inspection to verify that, the plantings were done. I mean, my client paid $20,000 to have this work done, which is extremely high, in my opinion. And I would think for that price, he probably should have submitted some type of a final report, or maybe say a 6-month, 1 year sort of a letter, just to say, inspect the plantings, they look okay. And I wasn't sure if there was anything in any of the Conservation Commission files that perhaps the agent at the time, maybe I don't know when she left, but I don't know if there was any overlap or any involvement by her to say maybe she had made a note to the file that I inspected after Mr. Montigny did the plantings. There appear to be in
We
the...
have a number for Calvin on file?
Sorry?
We have a number for Calvin Montigny on file? We must, right?
I'm not sure. I didn't try and contact him because the notes that we had on file said that prior to her departure, that Becky had gone out, verified the plantings. The holdup on this was verifying the 2-year survival.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we were
And
with
then
that.
once Lauren told me that, I sent the photos that he sent me to you guys, so you have all the photos.
Good, thank you.
So I think, like I say, I think those items, I think we've cleaned those up. I mean, he's removed the debris pile, the plantings are viable, he sent photos. I looked at them, they look great, look fine. So I think, I'm not really sure what more we can do, other than, you know, we've worked diligently. You know, again, I'll say it, we lost Joe, and Joe was working on this project with me, and he, after Joe's passed away, then McClure took the ball for myself and my client, and I think they did a fantastic job. I do a lot of work with and for McClure, and you know, I would ask that, respectfully ask that we issue an order of conditions, and you know, let's get the project started when we can.
All right, what do you got?
So I think my 2 comments, one, which is a simple thing that I don't think needs a plan revision, we would just note it, but I'd like to see that drip strip to be 18 inches instead of 1 foot, just because the roof pitch, usually it's a little bit beyond a foot, but that's, like I said, a simple fix. My question 2 is, considering the ledge in the area, is there any concerns about getting the helical piles in? Are they able to easily go through ledge, or is there a chance that the ledge may become an issue and they might have to have a plan B for what's used for support, which would just require a minor change, most likely by the commission, but,
Yeah, I don't know
okay.
the bedrock, you know, geology in this area. You know, and I don't think the helipiles have to go in. I mean, they don't have to go in, you know, too deep. I would say they're gonna go probably a little beyond 4 feet, just maybe some of them go a little bit deeper than that, depending on the slope, depending upon, you know, some of the,
Do you have to have them like on an 8-foot segment, or can you move them around?
what do you mean?
Well, if you can't pierce it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the ones higher up are gonna be a little bit shorter than the ones that are near the bottom. That one there, the second landing.
Yeah.
So it, obviously, we've got a little bit more slope there.
So we're only talking 2 places that those are.
Yeah, I think all we need is three sets at the top landing, the middle, and then the one nearest the bottom.
The 3.
We'll
Yeah,
probably
these 3
still want to have some straw wattles on the base, just for,
Yeah,
even though it'll be a small amount of material, but
Well, we do have erosion controls right at the total slope. So if you want straw wattles, we'll put straw wattles.
I think that we should do some straw wattles towards the bottom here as you're working. Or if you're, depending on, you know, when we do the pre-activity meeting with whoever is going to be installing the stairs, I can kind of have that conversation with them of what that process is going to be. If they think this is going to be a 1-day, 2-day job, maybe if it, you know, it's going to be more than a day, maybe having wattles midway and then moving them further down, just for that, any slight chance of that small bits of sediment that's going to work their way into the lake
he's fine
for,
with that.
okay.
He's fine with that. I don't anticipate any, I mean, these, you know, helipiles are, I mean, do they go through ledge? I would, I mean, if it's, again, I'm not sure of the bedrock geology in this area, but I don't anticipate that that's gonna be an issue.
It's Sturbridge, so I always anticipate
No,
ledge.
I hear you.
Work with the
They tie
company and
in-
you
I
guys.
think once they hit the bedrock, they tie in with anchors or tie rods.
Yeah.
I believe
Okay.
so, yeah.
I just looked it up, actually.
That, we use pilings as the footings to our extension to our deck last year, and they hit some rock, and that thing went right through it.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like I say, I have a big sunroom, and I know they went down pretty deep.
Yeah.
I don't know if they hit any ledge. I don't recall if there was any, but I don't anticipate that would be an issue, but we'll certainly,
Up and just anchor it.
we're gonna adhere to, how we're gonna construct.
Nick?
Yeah, no, I mean, I realize it's been a painful project, so I feel for you, and I appreciate you listening to our notes. Joe, I had to get a little pointed in the last meeting. I apologize if you thought I was being rude. That was not my intention by anything, but I think that this is a much better project than we had. The only thing I would ask, if it's okay, if we do find that those helical pilings are not going to work for whatever it is, before the engineer on site says, oh, we're going to do this instead, please stop, we're going to need to put a condition in there, stop the project and bring it back to us so we can approve the minor change.
Absolutely.
So, but, thank you.
Thank you.
My only concern, other than what was just said, is the distance between them. You're gonna have, what are they, 2x8s? That are coming down as the stringers?
What do you mean, on the staircase, on the stairs? Yeah, I don't,
Concern is that you,
oh, you mean like in the picture there?
yeah,
Like 4x4s or?
that's all well and good, but the picture I'm talking about is that one over there. The only thing that's touching the ground are those 4 posts, and then, as you said, 2 more. That's a long distance.
Well,
You think they're gonna need more?
We'd probably we can confirm this with the building inspector too, because that'd be regulated under the building code, so we can ask Bill if this complies.
That makes sense.
If not, that's something we quickly could address for, any type of minor change if more is needed, but.
Other than that. Anything?
No, I appreciate that the Sand Beach was moved like for later so that then this one can move forward, so.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make, nobody from the public, so I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Nick Bravo in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
German in favor?
With regards to the project at 23 Old Hamilton Road, I'd like to make a motion to approve, for a waiver approving disturbance within the 25-foot buffer.
Discussion? None, all in favor?
Bravo in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
And German in favor.
With regards to the project at 23 Old Hamilton Road, I'd like to make a motion to approve a waiver for a new structure within the 50-foot buffer.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Nick Bravo in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
And German in favor.
With regards to the project at 23 Old Hamilton Road, DP file number 300-1254, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act and the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions as noted in the draft order of conditions.
I request one more motion too,
Oh, one more?
when
Okay.
you're done with this one.
Nick Bravo in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Didn't ask for any discussion.
Oh, you did?
I got-
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, I thought I was on point.
She had
I was proud of
discussion.
myself over here.
My bad. You got derailed.
All right. All in favor?
Bravo in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
German in favor.
All right.
What's the other motion?
Regarding the enforcement order,
Oh, okay.
if the commission feels, if satisfied with the pictures, that they're satisfied with the survival of the plantings and that the enforcement order has been resolved.
Okay. With regards to the enforcement order at 23 Old Hamilton Road, I'd like to make a motion to relieve the applicant of that enforcement order and deem it satisfied.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Nick Bravo in favor.
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Gooder in favor.
And German in favor.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good evening.
When that order of conditions is ready, do you want it mailed or would you like to pick it up? If it gets mailed, it gets sent certified. So,
I could pick it up. When do I?
once it's ready, I'll send you an email to let you know that it's available.
Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, folks.
We have a,
Thank you.
we have a continuation, the public hearing for, minutes. That will be, the applicant has requested a continuance until June 18th. Can you make it July 9th?
I'll see if they agree to that date, but that seems more likely, with the conversation that I had.
We have a right to agree also.
Both parties have to agree. So I'll make sure that that's fine with them, but it should be, because I had a conversation with McClure today about them picking up this project and getting another surveyor out there and, staking out the garage, and it seems a little bit more likely.
Next one after that is the 9th, right? Is it?
July 9th,
Right.
July 9th.
Okay, good. All right.
So then, will we need to accept June 18th and then do another one for the 9th? Like, how do we
You
procedurally move
can,
forward with
grant a
that?
continuance to July 9th. I don't see it being an issue. I'll send an email and make sure that they're fine with it if there's any disagreement, but I don't anticipate there would be.
With regards to the project at 51 Bennett Road, I'd like to make a motion to continue this public hearing until July 9th.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Central in favor.
And we, now on to notice of intent for Wackamounset Pond, Doug Bizard, Waybog, South Pond,
South Pond.
Lake Association, Representative Carl Nielsen. Carl's not here.
So we still have not received anything back from Natural Heritage, and that's kind of going to be a holdup for what can be done. So they are requesting a continuance, but we have a slight problem because June 18th, I was informed today that Town Hall closes at noon on June 18th because Juneteenth is a Friday and it's an observed holiday. Since our building is we're only half-day office hours, that other half-day rolls over prior. So my recommendation is to move our June 18th meeting to either Tuesday the 16th or Wednesday the 17th. So we can stay in that same week. We have to post legal ads and everything next week, so it won't mess anything up. But either of those dates should work.
Either one of them.
I have kickball on Wednesday, just saying.
Yep.
What?
I have kickball on Wednesday.
Well, and now me too, Lori. I'm joining you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, if Ed's not available,
Yep.
we should probably look at something different.
Is Tuesdays not available for you?
No, I'm on vacation from the 13th to the,
I think you have a housing meeting that day too. On,
No, yeah.
on that Tuesday.
no.
Really? It said, I think it said on the calendar. Okay.
Not anymore.
Oh, geez. Okay. Were you going to be missing that meeting anyway, or you were going to be back in time for the meeting?
I was going to miss that meeting anyway.
Oh, you were going to miss the 18th?
Yeah. Well, we were, I didn't know I was missing that meeting at that point.
I'm down for whatever you guys want to do.
What? Yeah.
Either of them are fine for me. Want to do the 16th?
Just, yeah.
I can make either Tuesday the 16th or Wednesday the 17th work, I believe. On my personal calendar, I can. On my work calendar, I'm traveling the week before, so I imagine I'm fine that week. Yes, I could do either Tuesday or Wednesday the 16th or the 17th.
So Ed, this Affordable Housing Trust meeting is no longer happening on the 16th? If we can do the 16th, this room's available.
Oh. There we go.
You guys are in for a treat. I'll be taking the gavel, apparently.
You know, I got one in my garage
Do you really?
that I actually
Okay.
made.
So then, that being said, for South Pond, then I'd recommend granting the continuance to June 16th.
Do I need to oh, no, we don't need to
Doesn't
remove
affect
that.
any of the
This
other
is the
ones,
first motion for this. So with regards to the project for Quackumsquasit Pond and the QQLA, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until June 16th.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
San Germain in favor.
All right, we are now on 92 Westwood Drive.
Oh yeah, did you guys all sign
Yeah.
in? I didn't see you guys sign in. All three of you? It's over
Sign in.
there.
There's one there and there's one there.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
Sam, how you doing? You want to bring it up the plan?
We cannot hear you.
Yep, Sam, we can't hear you. Is your microphone on? You're not muted, so it might just be your microphone.
June 18th. This
When that happens.
to the 16th.
Is our sound working?
If you're still having a hard time with the sound, you can call in too. That phone number is on the top of the agenda.
Five 536.
That's the code.
Oh, that's the code, I'm sorry.
Don't call that.
872-240-3311.
Now she got really confused.
I know.
When you're trying to count and someone's filling numbers. So the meeting will still be at 6?
If that works for you. One day I'm hoping we can bump them up to 5.
It's going to be tough.
We can hear you.
Go?
Yeah. Can you turn it down a little bit?
That's me, not her. She can't turn her.
Oh, okay, go ahead. They said you can't turn it down.
Okay, sorry about that. So my drawing is basically just the replanting that we had discussed yesterday when we did the site meeting. It's a very rough sketch, and I do apologize for that. I will get better. For it, I put the 18-inch stone gravel that Lauren had requested for the rain catch off the roof. And then in front of that area, there is plenty of room to put 4 bushes, maybe a hydrangea or azalea. There are also places for 4 more bushes in the mulch bed in front of the parking area and the retaining wall.
Just sorry to
There's
interrupt.
also space
Oh, hey,
for a small tree.
Yeah, but not when she's talking.
Oh,
To the right, maybe a dogwood or an American sunbeam. And then a lakefront, the canopy tree we would request would be a maple, preferably a red maple, or a paper birch. There is one dwelling in that area that is doing really well in the property next door on the left. So we would, be good with something like that. There are more than 8 plants that I put on this rough sketch, but I'm open to whatever you finalize.
All right, Lauren, you say.
So,
Lori's passing down that image. We weren't able to save it prior to the meeting, to the drive, so Lori's passing the picture now that you had sent with the drawing for the proposals there. But thank you for adding that infiltration trench in the front.
In that flat area, there's enough room for both a maple and a paper birch, and they're gonna be both viable, or do we need to put the paper birch on the other side? Where's my clicker?
Sam, would you say it's one or the other with the paper birch or the maple, or that both can?
The problem is we'd have to plant at least one of them on the slope if we did both. But I thought the paper birch would be better up top by that gravel pit area they have with the Adirondack chairs. And then maybe slope side we put the red maple. Or in the front right corner by the parking area where the neighbor on the right has the pink azalea. There's plenty of space for a tree there, but I don't want a huge tree because their grinding tank is right there as well. So we could do 3 trees, 5 bushes, and do dogwood up front, paper birch on the top by the Adirondack chairs, and then maybe a red maple on the slope, and then 4 bushes in front with the gravel stone for the water catch, and then maybe a few to make it look uniform by the 2 trees by the parking area getting removed.
And you think if we planted that red maple on the slope, Sam, it'd be perfectly viable there?
I would like to think so because the oak trees did well, but if we're not removing the stump or the roots to make sure we don't have any erosion, I don't feel confident enough to say that the red maple's root system would work well.
But if we put the maple on the flat area,
with those 2 large oak trees.
if they put the flat, the red maple on the flat area, would that be more viable if we then look to replace the paper birch someplace else?
Well, you could put the paper birch. I would say even the paper birch on the slope would be better, red maple up top. Because there's another paper birch in that slope area on the neighbors. And so those root systems can work together between those 2 paper birches.
That work for you?
Yeah, I'm dying to say, let's just do it. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. No.
That's a lot of planting.
No, I agree. I just want to make sure they're viable. So, okay.
All right, yep. Sounds good.
All right. So we got. What is this? Making a motion for a minor change.
Correct.
Okay. With regards to the project at 92 Westwood Drive, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under a minor change for DEP file number 300-1231, with the notes of the discussion here today.
Second, discussion? Anyone?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Thanks, Sam.
Take care.
Oh my God, I did it.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. You did a terrific job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you'll see me on the 18th too. I'm doing my first RDA in 6 years. You can ask Lori. I've been hitting up every day. So what do I do now? So,
And hey Sam,
you'll see me tomorrow.
Hey Sam, just so you know, it's being moved to the 16th. You want to write that down?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Just so you know.
All right, we're at 52 Stallion Hill.
Thank you.
Request a 2-year extension.
This is a trails project for the construction portion of the Grand Trunk Trail and the gravel lot that's going to kind of connect to the Riverlands. Project hasn't been conducted yet, so they're requesting a 2-year extension for that project. I don't see any areas where the resource boundaries may have changed that we'd consider reviewing it again. It's a gravel walkway on an already cleared area, so my recommendation is to grant the 2-year extension.
Regards to the project at 52 Stallion Road, DP file number 300-1061. I'd like to make a motion to issue a 2-year extension.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Central Line favor.
All right, we're on to Walker Pond, request for a minor activity change, DP file number 300-0925.
Hi, folks.
Done.
Hi, Dominic.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. My name is Dominic Maringolo, Senior Project Manager with Solitude Lake Management, here on behalf of the DCR Lakes and Ponds program. Here to request a minor project change to the Walker Pond management program. We recently, last year during our surveys, unfortunately we discovered another invasive species in the pond that had not been seen previously, which is fanwort. So the DCR has requested that we kind of go after that new plant quickly to try to prevent it from infesting the entire pond. Unfortunately, the products that we had in the management plan currently, none of those products works effectively on the fanwort. So I'm here tonight to request that the commission approve the addition of the Fluridone brand name Sonar herbicide to addition to the treatment program so that we can effectively manage the fanwort in Walker Pond this year. Fluridone is a well-known herbicide. It's been around since the 1980s. It is reduced risk classification by EPA. It's been used on a number of lakes and ponds throughout the state very successfully over the last number of decades. It is a systemic herbicide, which is great. So it does kill the entire plant, the root systems. It is a fairly slow-acting herbicide. It does need to be kept in the water at low concentrations for 60 to 90 days in order to work effectively. But it is one of the only herbicides that's actually allowed by label to be used directly in drinking water reservoirs at concentrations less than 20 parts per billion, which is what we're targeting, actually a maximum of 10 to 12 parts per billion. This product comes in both liquid and granular formulations. Given that the fanwort is currently only in about 20 acres of the pond, we will be using the granular herbicide formulation to try to keep that product in certain areas of the pond to where the fanwort is located. Again, this is a EPA, Massachusetts DAR, DEP approved herbicide, similar to the other products that we have in the management plan, but again, this specifically is needed to target this new invasive plant for Walker Pond fanwort. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I do also want to just express my gratitude to the commission for, at their last meeting, approving a 6-month extension of the order that allows us to continue, and we'll be filing a new NOI over the off season. But really, it's really kind of critical that we get this new plant treated in Walker Pond. If it's allowed to grow all summer long, I think we'll be looking at quite a bit more infestation that will need to be treated next year if we don't do it this year. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you folks may have.
So I think the big one with this is if this is going to be considered a minor activity change or if this hits the criteria of an amendment. So looking at what that, if that impact for treatment is going to be increased, and referencing in the order of conditions of having to go back and add these additional chemical treatments, that's kind of the biggest holdup of how the commission would like to see this go forward. As Dominic mentioned at the last meeting, we approved a 6-month extension, and they are in the process of filing a new notice of intent to go for next year. So I would assume that this would all be in that new notice of intent, so it's kind of in your hands of how you'd like to see this go for the 6 months that we're down to for this. 5 months, almost 5 months now.
I'm good.
I have a question. Did we receive the year-end reports for 2024, 2025?
We did, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're already kind of at the, not past the window of optimal treatment, but we are getting very close to that. I feel if we have to go through if we have to go through an amendment process, notify abutters and whatnot, we'll be delayed further. In terms of the kind of impact or what folks around the lake and users of the lake will see, there really won't be any really substantial change that I see to anybody using the lake. It's again, it's obviously a different herbicide that works differently, but in in a general sense, it's the process is very similar to what we've been doing on the lake before.
And red areas are where you're going to use it?
There's further on the north end and the south end of the pond is about 20 acres that we'll be treating with the herbicide. Again, this fan was first discovered in Walker Pond last year, so
Isn't the Wells Park swimming area up in that north end?
I think that's right here, right?
Oh, am I in the wrong spot?
No, well, it's
The Wells is,
a little west of the
Right,
the
right
boat
where
ramp.
you were was
Yeah.
wasn't that the Walker Pond?
this is the Walker Pond Beach.
That's
yeah.
the
Up there's the
Walker Pond
boat
Beach.
ramp.
No, I was talking about the Wells Park.
So the boat ramp's right where the red is, and then if
Yeah.
you go to like the left, there would be like where the beach area would be kind of coming down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no recreational restrictions with this herbicide. There's actually, the EPA allows, there's a maximum contaminant level in drinking water of 150 parts per billion. We wouldn't expect to see more than 15 parts per billion in the lake, in the pond water at any one time. So there's really no impact on the use of the beach or boating or anything like that.
Laura, what do you say?
I'm just concerned that this has been like extended for like so many times. Like now, this for me is a much of a major change. You mentioned that you don't want like to go through the communication with abutters and so on, but are they going to be communicated regarding the use of water for irrigation until like the levels of the herbicide it goes down like about like 30 days or something like that?
Well, we post the shoreline of the pond as we always do with the water use restrictions. The DCR Lakes and Ponds program, and we communicate with the park staff about that as well. And more than happy to reach out to the Walker Pond Association to let them know what's going on as well, so that they have a heads up, and if they can have a way to disseminate the information to their members as well.
Can I vote on this? I'm part of the association.
Oh, you're part of the association?
Okay.
You should probably,
You guys have a conversation.
I think you should abstain.
I did actually on the last meeting, so I didn't vote.
Yeah, I'd recommend you abstain.
Dominic, just out of curiosity, maybe Lauren, you know this. This treatment, is this an expansion of what we've approved from an acreage standpoint, and do we need to worry about what we have approved inside of the four corners of the original permit? If we're fine within the acreage, and Flora, I obviously get the concerns about alerting the public, so if they can do that, I would think that the most prudent method of doing this is through a minor change and then pick this all up over the winter as part of the new NOI. But I am concerned about the number of acres we've approved and whether or not this would be an expansion of that. Dominic, do you know?
I'm not aware that there's any specific limitation on the acreage in the current approval. The program has been designed around identifying areas of non-native species in the pond and then conducting management as necessary. I don't believe there's any specific area limitation in the order of conditions currently.
This one was
And
also
we
issued in
definitely
2016.
treated 20 acres
Predates my time.
or more with some of the other herbicides, like Procelicor for the milfoil in the past, so.
Predates your time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing,
Yeah.
it's like
This
so
is
old that
year 7 for me, or 8. I can't
yeah,
remember, 7 or 8.
it's too long to go with.
Yeah.
How
But
many, oh, sorry, I didn't want
No,
to.
I was just going to say, if there is no acreage restriction, we generally, that's what we have been doing, right? But if there isn't one, I see no reason to create potentially a bigger problem over the timing of 6 months. We issued the extension for a reason, precisely for things like this.
I think the first part of your statement was correct, the second part was bogus.
All right.
Precisely for this.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, we can delay it and create a potentially a bigger problem for ourselves.
Or not.
Or okay.
I mean, that's a question.
Yep.
I don't know.
Hey, Dominique, can you speak to how fast sandwort moves? Like how aggressive it is?
I mean, in my experience, sandwort is more aggressive than milfoil, which is the primary invasive species that we've been dealing with in the pond in the past. Based on my past experience with the NOI the last time around, I don't remember there being a lot of concern from the residents and the public. I don't even remember if there was anybody that really made any comments. I mean, this particular herbicide is a very common one, in the whole scheme of things. I don't really think there's anything all that much different about this herbicide as compared to, like, say, for instance, Procelicor that we've been using on the milfoil. It's
So as someone that's been working on this pond for, over a decade, with this being something that's somewhat newly discovered invasive species on this pond, do you see any indicators of why this, what's causing it to spread? Is it, more towards public access areas? Are there things that Walker Pond could be doing or practices that they could be emphasizing to, the abutters on trying to control this? Because obviously it wasn't here a couple of years ago, and then now it's
right. More than likely, the most common way that these things get in is, there was probably a piece of fanwort on somebody's boat trailer on their equipment that got released when that's usually what ends up happening, or there could have been potentially the other possible way is waterfowl traveling from one pond to another as well, aside from typical kind of education on, making sure your boats and your trailers are clean, and there's really not a lot else that can be done, unfortunately. I believe there is typical signage at all the state boat ramps with about invasive species.
Right.
Can I ask another question?
What?
Can I ask another question?
Of course.
How many, what are the areas within the lake where you find a invasive species, and do you have an approximate amount of, like, as Eric was mentioning, acres that you may need to treat, and how many times in these next 6 months you will need to treat them?
Yeah, so referring back to last year's report, we identified about 20 acres of the lake that had fanwort, and there was concentrations in both the north and south end of the lake, and that has been pretty typical hotspots for this particular pond, even for the milfoil. Not to say that there aren't other sections of the pond that have plants, but the western shoreline is, the central part of the western shoreline is pretty steep and rocky, except for the north and south ends, but there has been some occasional plants on the eastern side, which is more shallow and gradually sloped. But we're planning, the current plan is to treat 20 acres of the pond, and because with the way that the fluoride herbicide works, because we do have to keep the concentration in the water for 60 to 90 days, and there is a natural degradation as well as dilution, we will do an initial treatment and probably 2 follow-up treatments about 3 to 4 weeks apart to maintain that concentration for the required amount of time to control the plants.
Are you using liquid or the pellets?
Because this is a partial plant treatment, we'll be using the pellets that allows the herbicide to stay in the areas of the plants more than with the liquid, which is more prone to diffusing throughout the entire water volume. The pellets release the herbicide slowly over a period of 4 to 6 weeks instead of all at once like the liquid, so that helps us maintain concentrations in the areas of plants better.
So in some areas, the pellets are not allowing shallow waters, less than 2 feet, just because they take time to dissolve, and people walking in these areas or like kids can pick them up. What is the depth that you're planning on?
Typically, if there's an area of access, like we won't go in, certainly not less than 3 feet of water. We don't put pellets in, so anywhere 3 feet and deeper in the treatment areas, we'll apply the pellets. Again, there's no recreational use restrictions on this particular label, as there is with all the herbicides that we have available to us. So there's no recreational use restrictions. The only restriction for this product is for irrigation. And again, this particular product is the only herbicide in aquatics that's allowed to be used in drinking water reservoirs directly.
Yeah, what I'm seeing as an issue with the recreational, when it's the liquid, it dissolves much faster, so the concentrations in the water are much lower. But when you have the pellet, the concentration in the water around the pellets is going to be much higher than in the surrounding areas until the pellets are completely dissolved and spread in the water column. So maybe having some type of restriction for the use of the lake for 30 days or something like that will be needed.
That's really not, there's a slightly higher concentration near the pellets, but not once that herbicide comes off the pellets and gets into the water, it's then prone to diffuse. The pellets just allow us to keep a slow release, which helps combat dilution and also just keeps a slightly higher concentration in the plants. But it would still, we do measurements of the concentrations in between each treatment. Our target concentrations really between 8 and 12 parts per billion. There would not be any concentration over, there would not be any very higher concentrations than that anywhere in the pond, really.
Any more questions? Everyone want to make a motion?
With regards to the minor change for, what do we got? DEP file number 300-925, I'd like to make a motion to approve the request as a minor change. And you said no more than 20 acres, Dominic?
That's correct. Our plan is to treat 20 acres.
And I'd like to limit the treatment to the 20 acres under that minor change and request any expansion of that to come back in front of us.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, any discussion?
I had some discussions. I think it's important to communicate to the people that are going to be using the lake, especially the herbicide that is being used, the type. I think that the regulations are a little bit loose in terms of recreation. I'm concerned of like kids playing there and like getting exposed to.
What about adding a stipulation that on the notice that's posted for treatment, that it lists the specific chemicals that are being used? So that way, if people want to kind of go from there, they know what to search for to learn more about those things. And then we can also request that Walker Pond Association sends an email to everyone that's part of the association.
Is it possible to restrict use for a certain period of time until the pellets completely dissolve?
So if they do one treatment before doing a second treatment, waiting to see that all of that has dissipated, that the levels are.
That's not gonna work. I mean, the pellets, there's no way to know that for sure, and the whole idea is to keep the concentration pretty constant through the whole 60 to 90 day period. There really is there's no concern about any exposure above any known concentration, just because it's pellets. We've used this herbicide in probably 100 lakes in Massachusetts, and
It's not a public
it's
hearing.
never been an issue. There's no restriction for recreational use.
Let's move.
There is a motion on the table.
Do you want to modify the motion or stick with the motion that you had already had?
So, if an additional notification of the chemicals being used would satisfy Flora's primary concern, then I would certainly modify my motion to.
Or at least for this year?
Well, it's only for 6 months
Right.
anyway. So if we limit it to 20 acres and provide, additional documentation of the specific chemicals that are being used.
Available for the public.
And I would say like 20 acres and waters deeper than 3 feet.
And water, for the pellets.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm actually trying to find a map, because I'm not even sure that any of the treatment areas are actually in front of any houses, to be honest with you. I'm trying to find the map.
I'm looking at the 2025 report, page 4.
Okay, I can't really see the screen over the Zoom here. I'm just gonna open it real quick, sorry.
Lauren, how can we notify the residents?
Just have to notify the
So
city.
the lake associations and the applicator are the ones that do the notifications for these projects.
So we need to require that.
Is there any public use?
There's a state beach on the other side.
Yep, so you've got the Wells State Park, so the camping residents, so we can also have, we can provide a more specific list of, put the notification that lists the specific chemicals being used, that it gets shared with the Walker Pond Association, and then shared with the front, I don't know what you'd call it, the front desk people that work Wells State Park, so that way that information can be posted at the check-in for Wells State Park, so when people, like the campers are going through the gate, that could be posted on that window, so they're aware.
We'll actually do that.
They do it though. Like,
Who's that?
Well, the state.
It's a staffed state park.
The staff state park.
They're fully- yes.
But how about the swimming area at
Solitude would do that.
Solitude?
We do. We do post like in. And also, if any of you have a contact person at the Walker Pond Association, I would appreciate sharing that with me.
I think all my emails get kicked back.
There's
Unfortunately, I reach out, Heather Egan's my go-to, and every time I try and email it, the person that's actually on your email, mine get kicked back. I don't know who the current,
June 10th is.
do you know who the current president of Walker Pond is?
Find out.
Okay. All right.
The June 10th is the meeting.
Is the Walker Pond Association meeting?
I just saw it yesterday.
Okay. So Nick will find out who the new president is. And Dominic, when we get that information, or if Suzanne gets it, whoever gets it, we can share that with you, because I need that as well.
Okay. So
Actually, they have a website. I was just gonna see if anything might be on.
for cleanliness, I'd like to rescind my motion so I can issue a new one. So with regard to the project, DEP file number 300-925 at Walker Pond, I'd like to make a motion to approve the applicant's request for a minor activity change subsequent to limiting the area to 20 acres and the use of pellets only in depths of 3 feet or below, or 3 feet or above, excuse me. And also that the applicant will be notifying both the Wells State Park for the state land and the Walker Pond Association for distribution to the membership of the treatment, and notifying the use of those chemicals in a public fashion. All right?
Say it again.
All right.
Any further discussion?
No. Eric Gaspar in favor?
Abstain.
I abstain.
We need 3. Well, make your, what's your vote, but,
San Germano against.
What?
All right.
Against.
okay.
All
So
right.
2 abstain, 1 approve, and 1 deny.
Certainly have diversity of votes. That is for sure.
Great.
Okay.
Now,
So the motion does not pass.
Cedar Lake, Susan?
Yep, so I've asked the chair to insert an item that is not listed on the agenda. We had a request today for, modification to the treatment plan for Cedar Lake, so you guys should all have this email with this map in front of you as well. And we have representatives from Cedar Lake and Dominic to lead this discussion as well.
I'm sorry, could you let me know what just happened with the Walker Pond? I didn't hear everything.
The motion did not pass. You had 2 that abstained, 1 that voted in favor, and 1 that voted against.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm Suzanne Brozek with Cedar Lake Association. I live at 2 Kabinski Drive. So last year, we were issued a new order of conditions. And one of the special conditions of that OOC are that we limit treatment of weeds to 10 acres. At the time, we felt comfortable with that because it had reflected what we had been doing for several years prior. But prior to 5 years ago, we actually had a huge problem with milfoil on Cedar Lake. And our spring survey this year showed that we actually have 13 acres of milfoil growing in our lake this year, which is of concern, because if we leave it there, it's going to spread. We also have 6 acres of starwort and pondweed in the north end, which we expected. That was, I would have been surprised if that hadn't been there. But
Top the north.
On the north end, yeah. So the map there shows where all the weeds are, but the bottom line is that if you add 13 and 6, that's 19 acres, which is more than what we're actually permitted to do according to our current OOC. So I'm here asking for an exception for this year to allow us to treat these 19 acres of weeds to prevent the spread any further. And Dominic from Solitude, Dominic Maringolo is here from Solitude to represent us, as well as Solitude will actually be the company applying the treatment. I did discuss this at length with him, as well as with Craig, who was here last year when we did our notice of intent and helped us with our order of conditions. Craig Nielsen. I'm sorry, Carl Nielsen. Sorry, Carl.
I thought I knew what you meant, but I couldn't get a Craig
Yeah,
out of it.
Carl. Okay.
Carl actually no longer works for TRC. TRC was bought by a Canadian company. But he's still working locally.
Well, you have any questions on this? Pretty straightforward.
So we've approved 10 acres of treatment, and we're
Approved 10
basically looking
acres.
to double that? Is there any option other,
13 to 19, isn't it?
no, we've approved 10,
Yeah.
and they have 19, which is a doubling,
Yeah.
and Dominic, is there something other than dicot that can touch these?
Well, I mean, there is the Priscilla-core herbicide, but the growth is, although it's beyond hand pulling, it's still relatively sparse and kind of new growth. I mean, we had actually 5 years ago, we treated about 25 or 30 acres of the lake with Priscilla-core, and we got really 5 years of control, which was good. But now we are starting to see that come back. And the problem with Priscilla-core is it's exorbitantly expensive for the associations, budgeting-wise. We're hoping a one-time treatment with dicot now to these newly regrowing plants might buy us some time here and certainly prevent any further spread, but also, maybe knock back these plants before they get reestablished. And hopefully, if any regrowth that does come back, we might hopefully be at hand pulling levels at that point.
And it looks like from the map you're providing to, some of these hot spots are what we'd suspect. You've got that north end that's right off the pike, which we know has historically been a problem area. You've got the town rec, which I don't know what's going on with our management for the beach, but that's obviously an area where the water remains pretty stagnant at all times, and we are still hoping at some point to improve that. The town is hoping to improve that area a little bit, but obviously it's a hot spot. And then that other area that's kind of between the hotels and off Route 20, where we know that we get a lot of discharge too. So it's tough, and we obviously know the health of Cedar Lake is in rough shape as well. And so it's,
Yeah,
know what our answers are,
but I think trying to go after this aggressively is important.
I remember you remember the conversation around dicot, right?
Yes.
You knew that this was going to be, and so I understand that there's a budget issue here, but I'm trying to figure out a way that is going to satisfy everybody in this, and increasing dicot, I don't know is going to be a very popular thing in this for this commission. I mean, what are we talking about? I realize that this is not my money, so I apologize for even asking the question, but what are we talking about? Are we talking a factor of it's 15% more, or are we talking it's 150% more?
It's a lot more. It's the difference between 100.
10 times more
It's
expensive?
10 times more. It's $125 an acre or $1,241 an acre. It's exorbitantly different.
And what are the additional precautions that are going to be made for the children and the people that live around the lake and
Yeah.
use the lake?
We keep
'Cause there's a significant difference in the risk factors of dicot versus Priscillicor, which is what is kind of
Yeah.
our pause.
So historically, we have used dicot, and Solitude sends us notices, and on those notices, it lists what you should not do and for how many days. So it's about, swimming, boating, irrigation, putting pets in the water, the whole thing. Those are posted all around the lake. In addition, we post a second set of signs that they're Cedar Lake Association signs. So we've got the official orange signs that come from Solitude. Then we have our Cedar Lake Association signs. We send an email to everyone on the lake, and we also post in our private Facebook group so that everybody knows that the lake is being treated and to stay away from it. Dominic can speak to how long it takes for these chemicals to dissipate and whatnot, but we actually have very strict guidelines around communication and posting anytime that we treat the lake.
Does anyone recall when summer rec starts this year? What the first week? Does it start in July?
I was just going to ask that question. I believe it's
I'm gonna look.
Pretty quickly after.
I don't know if it
the
was
last day
till
of school is
July.
the 18th.
Right.
Yeah,
I
and
feel- but most camps start July. I'll look on, let me look on the rec page for
we
you.
notify them as well
Okay.
as the Board of Health.
There's some snacks by you guys if you need a little something, something.
Summer concert. Summer rec.
The 29th.
Got to it faster than me. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're treating on the 15th and kids are gonna start swimming in the rec on the 29th, what would we anticipate
It was 10 acres.
as far as?
The label for Backlot has no swimming restrictions. We've always closed the lake for swimming on the day of treatment and allowed swimming, or actually, Suzanne, do we normally do 2 days? I'm
Yeah,
trying to
we do.
remember.
Yeah. We do.
There are allergies and sensitivities to it though as well, and we'd want to make sure that that gets communicated to all parents in the area as well.
I mean, again, the label doesn't require any. We've always done at least 1 day of the day of treatment restriction on all activities on the lake as an extra precaution.
Oh, we've got a proposal in front of us. Do we need any more information? Vote on this?
I was just point out, I don't know, if Nick was here when I made this point last time, that dicot is a herbicide that is banned in the UK, the European Union, and other countries, and that is not specific, so it will kill basically all the vegetation that it touches.
I understand that. I mean, it's still approved by the EPA, it's still approved by DEP and DAR here in the United States. I understand the European Union and several other countries have banned it, but it continues to be permittable in Massachusetts.
Why are they banning it, Dominic?
My understanding was actually, I mean, I don't know the whole story. My understanding was that it was actually something that was a person that was actually handling the product and applying it that was exposed and had issues. So not anybody that was exposed in like a user of a lake, but I really don't know the entire story. That was kind of my understanding. But there's, I also know the European Union, I think several other countries, but there's, again, you know, we're in the United States, we go by the EPA's, it's approved, continues to allow its use as well as DEP. We have to get a permit from DEP as well every year, telling them which herbicides and how much we're asking for, so we have that permit as well already for this year.
You're gonna bring this to a vote.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the last thing I'll say is, I feel like I'm in a very difficult spot, because if the Mass DEP allows for it, I don't know that I can good conscience vote against it, because I don't know that that is necessarily my purview. It's allowed, it's permittable, and we've used it in other areas, so though I understand other people's opinions on this and respect it, I don't know that I have a basis to change my vote. So that said, I would like to make a motion to approve the minor change. What DEP file number are we under here? I don't have any notes on that, I'm sorry.
Hold on. I don't have one either.
I can say Cedar Lake if we think that covers it.
Yeah, that covers it.
For the
No,
for the
it's
treatment.
the 300-1229.
For DP file number 300-1229, the treatment of Cedar Lake, I'd like to make a motion to approve the expansion for 2026 of treatment to 19 acres beyond the 10 acres that is already permitted. So, 19 acres total, 9 acres beyond the 10 acres that are already approved.
Do I have a second? Second. All right. Discussion, any discussion?
There's just only two alternatives here?
I'm sorry?
There's only two alternatives we're talking about right now? There's this Diquat and the other chemical, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Procelicor.
Procelicor, and there's no mechanical because there's so much going on.
And
I'm
it's a
really
shallow
concerned,
lake.
the one thing I will say is I'm really concerned about where the wreck is, and because there isn't any, and I know it dissipates fast, it's just that concerns me, because that's where like all our kids go, and so I know like if in other parts of the lake, you might be able to, I'm just having a little bit of a pause with that spot, to be honest with you, and it's really concerning to me. I don't want to see anybody else have to spend any more money whatsoever. I mean, I'm having a tough time with that. I mean, basically, Diquat's like the modern day Roundup. I mean, they use it for almost anything right now. And so I'm just wanted to kind of talk about that for a second. I know I don't want to slow anybody down or anything, but
Oh, my son spends the entire summer at the rec, so I
yeah,
feel your.
and my daughter. So it's like I almost feel it the same because of just being the same. I know what I'm nervous about it not passing, but it's like because my children do go down there, I don't know if I should even be voting on it at the same time. That's the problem I'm having right now.
So Dominic, can you bring up that map again, please?
Yeah, we've got the map right here.
You have the map?
Yeah, I can see it
Yeah.
right here.
So that's,
The rec area is completely,
yeah, okay.
I want to bring this to a vote.
Yeah, well, there's a motion and a
Unless there's more
second.
information.
Yeah,
Motion and a second, so.
Yeah.
yeah. And we do contact the Board of Health directly. I talked to Ken directly on this, and he makes sure it's posted. He makes sure that everyone who's dealing with the rec area is aware of it, so that, they make sure nobody goes near there whenever we do this. And we also contact the rec department as well, so everybody's aware of it. If there's anything else that you think that we could be doing,
I'm not I feel like I don't know enough, like, about it. And I'm kind of conflicted, to say the least, I guess.
Yeah.
Procedurally.
Again, the EPA approved this label with no recreational restrictions. We are voluntarily closing the lake for all uses on the day of treatment as an extra precaution. But there's herbicide is less than 10% of applied within 24 hours, and even at total application rate, there's no swimming restrictions. But again, there won't be anybody in the water the day we do the treatment.
Out of an abundance of caution, because we allowed for discussion with an open motion for a commission discussion, I'd like to rescind my motion for the moment and restart that. Is there a second to allow me to rescind my motion? So now I would like to make a motion. Public discussion is done.
Okay.
Right? I'd like to make a motion to approve the project. DEP file number 1229 at Cedar Lake for the increase of the treatment from 10 acres to 19 acres for 2026 only, with one additional stipulation that this needs to be done no later than the 15th of June. So let's give it 5 days. By the 20th of June, if there's any slippage beyond the 20th of June, you need to come back in front of us.
So we'll remove the rec area from the treatment?
Can we remove the rec area from the treatment? Is there a way to,
Can we approve, can you make the motion without
I
including
mean,
rec
can you
area?
guys do mechanical over there? I mean, I know I sound kind of,
No, I
We can not apply in the direct beach area. Usually with the sand,
want to
the
open
sand
it.
area, there's probably not a
I'd
lot of
like to see
plants
if we
there,
can
so we
add
can
that
be rough
the motion
beach.
is to include, without including that area. If we can change that, I don't know if
I would not be opposed to it.
Say again what you were saying, Dominic. It was kind of broken up.
So we can eliminate the actual beach area from the application. I mean, not that entire cove, but, the beach area and within, say, 50 or 100 feet, I think that would be fine.
Why can't you eliminate the entire cove?
Well, because there is milfoil there, so, I mean, if that's a compromise that will allow you folks to approve it. Suzanne, I don't know if you're okay with that, but we
Well,
could.
I have a concern with safety. If you're having kids swimming in a pile of weeds that they get tangled up in, I mean, that you're creating a safety issue that's going to continue spreading. It may not necessarily be dangerous right now, but it will be, because it will continue to grow and spread. So that would be my concern. I think we need to get rid of it one way or another, even if we have to get divers down there and pull all the plants up. We have to get it out of there.
I agree that it has to be gone, because the question is if the using of the herbicide is the
Yeah.
best way of doing it at this point. So if you I already said it, so go and vote it.
You can just go ahead and vote.
Saying there's a higher watt charger.
What do you vote?
Saying there's a higher watt charger.
we're keeping it exactly the way we're keeping it.
No, we aren't. We're gonna do it with the, what was it? You made one motion,
Yep,
which was the date,
yep.
and before a date.
Question. Okay. So Priscilla is 10 times more expensive. Is it possible to do one side with Dipwa and the kids area with Procella? Is that a thing? 'Cause then it's safer in the kid area. I just thought I'd ask.
I mean, I think we can do that, right, Dominic? It's just going to cost money, and we would,
How big is the area?
I'm sorry. It's going to,
Kids drowning from one.
I believe it's 3. I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me. It's certainly possible to do that. I believe that whole cove area is 3 acres. I mean, if the commission would be willing to split it into 2 pieces, the northern half and the southern half, we can maybe limit that down a little bit more. But
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're saying it's 3 acres in the rec area, right, then that's about
$3,600.
$3,600, right, or almost $4,000 really for the rec area. And then the rest would be at the lower rate.
correct, yeah.
Well, Eric, why don't you put that together into your
Okay.
15 thing?
All right, so I'm going to rescind my motion for the second time, and I'm going to make a motion to approve the project, DEP file number 300-1229, for the expansion of the treatment of Cedar Lake from 10 acres to 19 acres for 2026 only, with the exceptions that all treatment needs to be done by the 20th of the month. The recreation needs to be shut down for 2 days, and the Cedar Lake Recreation Area, the town area where the kids go, will be treated with Priscilla-Core only, not Dicot.
Okay.
And I would second that.
Is that something you guys
Any
are?
further discussion? Any other comments?
Nick Gravel in favor?
What?
No discussion, Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor.
And I would favor as well, San German in favor.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But I will please ask, like, to start, like, thinking on, like, things that
Yeah.
do not include so many herbicides.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Like, to start, like, thinking in methods that will avoid the use of so many herbicides, because we keep adding and adding and adding, and the mitigation is one part, but also the prevention is
It'll
another
be
one.
interesting to see too what happens with that area compared to everywhere else,
Yeah,
if they're being
yeah.
treated
Can
differently.
Can be like a nice test.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
Thanks, Dominic.
it's like getting a root canal every time you come in here, Joanne. Suzanne. I'm sorry. I did. I feel bad. I feel bad.
Thank you,
Have a job
folks.
to do,
Appreciate
but
it.
it's not fun. Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you very much, Dominic.
All right,
Thank you,
we are
folks.
now at 82 Paradise Lane, request for a certificate of compliance.
Thank you.
Which number are we? Because I didn't have this.
We are back to number 8.
Great.
Oh, number 8. Okay, good.
All right, so this one's been on the agenda for a little while. This was the one that had the shed. The shed's gone, new plantings have been added, the landscaper, secured that mulch, the site's stable. All concerns have been addressed. The homeowner has been very cooperative in getting this done. So at this point, I recommend a complete certificate of compliance can be issued for 82 Paradise Lane.
My only question and concern is the plantings were just added. Was there a 1-year viability contingency?
No, because these were
with-
extra ones that we had on top of that.
That's fine. I just
So-
wanted to make sure that we weren't.
But you looked at them and they look good.
Yes.
Okay.
And add a little diversity too. So we did some blue flag iris to kind of mix it up a little.
All right. With regards to the project at 82 Paradise Lane, DP file number 300-1170, I'd like to make a motion to approve the request for a certificate for compliance, no perpetual conditions.
Have a second? Discussion? All in favor?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor?
San German in favor.
All right, we're on to 120 Breakneck Road. Request for a certificate of compliance for 23-05.
So this was also tabled at the last meeting because I had some follow-ups. Obviously, I was out sick for a week, and in my process of catching up my emails, I noticed that the email that I had sent to the property owner actually got kicked back, and I wrote it incorrect, his email incorrectly. So I sent a follow-up email requesting a site that he walk me through a site visit just to see that access of where the ATVs were going through, because that was kind of my concern there. And marking the final survey of where the fields were. So recommendation to table this to June 16th.
June 16th.
It
All right.
works for me.
And then next, we have 30 River Road, a request for a certificate of compliance for the DEP file number 300-1102. Gentlemen,
Good evening.
we gotta stop meeting like this.
No root canals.
The root canal might be more fun. I'm just kidding.
Who wants to start?
I'll jump in. Paul McManus from Ecotech. With me is Corey Broder from Haley Ward and Archie Holder from Pine Lake Campground. So we had a meeting this morning with the chairman and staff out on the site to look at the little pond downstream of the site. We also.
Oh, the other first. Give them good news before.
We had a site walk with DEP relative to request for a certificate of compliance on a superseding order related to drainage on site. So we met with Judy Schmitz, we walked the site. Judy, I think it's safe to say, was very happy with what she saw. She didn't think DEP never gives you a real conclusion out there, but we have every expectation that we'll get a certificate of compliance for the SOC. Corey can go into more detail about what that was, but it was basically, if you recall, there was a whole series of drainage and sediment controls put in. That's really what the DEP involvement was. I think that we're hopeful that issue is, we're going to get the COC and close that out. So, yeah. So the other issue, you want to jump in and?
No, I mean, yeah, that order was really concerned, just one, we call it outlet 6, it was a fire one, we added a swale to it, and that was like 5 years ago now, but it's all been done. Site's been maintained, so, yeah, again, just concur what he said about Judy was happy with it, so should be good to go on that end. But.
Yep. So the other issue that's in the commission's wheelhouse at this point is closing out enforcement order conditions related to, call it the rest of the site. And the issue, if you remember out there was what the campground referred to as the duck pond, which is right on the left when you go in. And then there's a stream runs out of that. Stream runs parallel to the driveway, goes under River Road, underneath the rail trail, and then discharges to a small pond there that's on the, I guess, Iozo, is that how he pronounces his name? It's on Iozo property there. It's a pretty small, several acre pond. So at that pond, where the stream comes in, there's a delta, as you see in a lot of ponds. There was a question early on about whether the sediment from the site impacted the pond at that delta. The commission retained Interfluve on your behalf. They wrote a report, I think it's 4 years old now, 2022, 21, 22.
23, I think.
September 22, excuse me.
September 22, right. So Interfluve went out and looked at that question. And they have, I submitted a report, my opinion on this, in February of this year. Interfluve said, through probing, digging, and sediment cores, we found isolated pockets of sand. They looked for accumulated sediments around the base of trees. At the pond edge, found no recent sand deposit. And then, and I'm quoting from them in all these, at about 95 feet from the pond edge, there were a few locations where we found a thin layer of organics above a fine layer of sand. So the commission had wanted some remediation down at that location. It was, to my knowledge, never really specified what that would be. I think.
Ecotech? Morrison? Right, I mean, it's pretty specific on what they agreed to do.
Well, there was cleanup in the channel.
No? Meet the culprit.
So my question on this report, though, is this was their proposal for the remediation plan, but the Interfluve report was after. So I can't find record of what was modified in a plan.
Well, yeah, but you're taking a position on this thing. First you said to me at the last meeting that we couldn't go on the site, which was not.
I never said we couldn't go on the site.
It's in the minutes. We're talking about December 5th. This, and then we've got, well, the point I'd like to make, okay, we are here talking about an as-built, okay, right? As-built means
Or the
you build it.
stormwater.
What? As-built. And it is, the project is not as-built today. Because there's a delta that was caused by the blowout, and it's limiting the size of the pond. The changes are immense with that kind of siltation. And to say that it's as built, and to come back and say that you're not going to execute what it said you're going to execute, it's confusing to me. Okay. And
Can I see that, Mr. Chairman? Because I'm Scott Morrison from my office wrote it, and maybe there's something I'm unaware of.
So it just to clarify the two issues, the certificate of compliance is for the stormwater design and the as-built for the stormwater design. Then there's the enforcement order. So they're not encompassed under that same plan.
I say they are, and I'm not.
But it's not in the.
I'm not going to sign an as-built on a project that is not as-built.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm looking at the order of conditions, and the order of conditions isn't for that.
I'd like to do a site visit with the commission and have everybody take a look at it. Everybody refresh themselves with this, which they have, and I don't know if they even got copies of that, and then we proceed from there. That's what I'd like to see happen. It's too covert at this point, in my opinion.
What is that?
Battery's gonna die
Yeah, I know.
FYI. Battery? On the computer. So as I've been, this is one of my introduction to the Conservation Commission was Pine Lake. So, first meeting. First meeting, it was full house. I was just been appointed, was sitting in, so anyway. And this has been, I would love for this to go away, but it just doesn't seem to. But if I recall from our meeting in February when this came up last, right? When
Scott, will you guys still?
No.
That we had a discussion around the Interfluve report, and the discussion was around, would we do more harm with remediation events than leaving it in place because the earth has a way to kind of cure itself. And I recall that conversation being one of, it has the potential to do more harm than good getting back in there and digging out that sand, because we do now have a level of organic material that is starting to develop on top of that, and there's no additional silting or delta being created. That's what I recall. That said, yes, has this entire project gone anywhere near according to plan? Hell no.
But
Right?
this is describing what we had agreed to, because we
Under the
compromised in the middle.
Under the enforcement order, you're absolutely correct, but.
Under the enforcement-
Under the enforcement order.
That's why I
but we
really
have
wanna
we have
separate
to
these two
take- We have
things,
to take these as separate items. I think that Ed, and rightfully so, in any conversation, if we relent on one and leave the other one out there, what good does that do at the end of the day? So, but what of that, right? Because I thought we had put that, maybe, Ed, you didn't put it to bed, and that's fine, but in my mind, I recall leaving that meeting, I think it was February, thinking, okay, we could.
It was January.
January. We could dig in and we could force the issue in, because we had an agreement, but to what end? Because it would potentially cause more harm to the water body than just leaving it in place. So, am I remembering that incorrectly, or do I need to
This
go
was
back
kind of
and
my
pull the tape?
positions of where I was torn too, because of what I observed when I was on site, and the Interloop report and the prior Ecotech reports. At no point over these years had the sediment ever been quantified. So that's my struggle, is it was never quantified in any of these reports. So kind of going out there and digging aimlessly, we can see sediment in various areas and various pockets of it. And when we walked the site with Judith today, there's some different opinions on all of this, and there was some options that she had brought up as well that said, can we look for other channels to kind of give this area more room to disperse? Is there other areas that we can kind of give back more waterway where it would be less disturbing to some of the more organic material? What's this compromise if we can try and get something back? While we're on site, Paul had offered, is there another area in town that those resources could be applied to do some remediation? So it's how do we move forward of trying to fix something? If there's more done in the pond, we need to work with the private property owner, because that's the one we don't have any affidavits from this property owner. And 2, we need to coordinate with Natural Heritage, because it is endangered species area. It's all priority habitat. But that's my biggest struggle, is since the sediment was never quantified, what are we digging around for? How much are we digging for? Because we're finding all these things in different pockets, and the more the years that this is going on, it's also spreading into different areas. It's moving at some point in different areas. So that's the biggest thing, is that I wish that 3 or 4 years ago, all this material, that someone had gone out there and said there's approximately 10 cubic yards of sediment that has washed in, but that was never done. So this is my hardest portion of it.
In fairness to Ed's position on this, Phil and Scott did not exactly, do us right in this process. We felt like there was a lot of secrecy that was going on with it,
and anytime it's in the court, I've even had a hard time. Yeah, I've even had a hard time talking to our own counsel, trying to figure out what was going on and what was agreed upon in court, because there was a lot of things that were discussed in a courtroom that I was never in, and we have no record of. We have some records of some things. So this specific order of conditions that calls for the stormwater aspects of it, the order of conditions was not for this. The enforcement order was for the dam blowout and for the remediation, not that.
Right.
But there was an appeal on this order of conditions, and a superseding order was issued, and also the court had redacted some of the special conditions from this specific order of conditions that has nothing to do with that. then there's the enforcement order. If we're doing some type of activity in the pond and we're coordinating with NHESP and we're coordinating with the private property owner, we can revise an enforcement order to be very specific of what is done, what activity is done, what areas are being done, but it's, like I said, we don't know how much material was there. We know that the duck pond was cleaned out. We know that the stream going all the way down was cleaned out. We know that the culvert, the town-owned culvert that was under River Road was in poor shape and that there was sediment in that as well. That's been documented from the town.
Well, we also have pictures.
There's so many factors.
And videos from Steve Halterman.
Oh, absolutely.
Who was ankle deep in that
Absolutely.
muck, watching the silting happen
Absolutely.
directly through there, right? So there's no question that there wasn't a direct impact
Yep.
of the things that happened
Definitely.
on that site that impacted.
So
Nick's,
what do we do now to
Nick's
fix
lake.
it and move on?
Well, and I thought, again, this is the piece that I'm not grasping, and I apologize for asking it again. Do we do more harm than getting in there, and by getting in there and forcing some action, than just leaving it be as it currently sits? Because I don't love the idea that we would almost give a free pass just because they waited us out, right? But if the earth is curing itself, and we then, as the commission, are going to do more harm to this property because we're just digging in our heels, I don't like that option either. In fact, I like that option less.
If I can comment on that, for Corey and I, I'm the ecologist, Corey's the engineer.
Right.
And, we're looking at this, and if there were something in there that we could say, okay, here it is, this area from here to here to this depth, this is material, we'd be in a much better position, because we could say, this is it, and this is how we think you should address it. Our problem is, I read the quotes from Interfluve, there's isolated pockets, that's their terms. I poked around in there a lot, and it's consistent, their description is consistent with what I saw. So I don't know what I would do. If the commission said, fix it, if my client said, fix it, you have a blank check, I still don't know what I would do. Because isolated pockets, do I go and make a grid of 1,000 points and I find a
But
pocket?
let's go back the other way a minute. Why do I not think that you're telling the truth? You could come here with a plan, a simple plan, as to cleaning out. It was talked about today, is that if there was an additional channel that would allow that to not build that to build up, you could take a simple action and get approval. But you're not doing that.
And we can
playing this game. You're the nicest one we've done it with, but we've been playing this game for a lot of years.
We're willing to do that. After you left today, we went down there. The three of us went back down there and talked about, because Judy had talked about, kind of some alternative rather than chase pockets. Perhaps do something else.
We talked about invasive species.
We stood down there for an hour and a half, kicking around, and I poked around a lot with my auger, and we thought about different things. We were talking about logistics, and we Corey and I kind of agreed that if we were to do something, probably the best way to do it would be with a Vector truck, because then you're not you really, it's not practical to get a machine down there. And shovels and buckets, that activity. So we were, we're talking about this. We're trying to come to something that.
Come to something and bring it to us.
That's what we're trying to do. Let's have a nice, calm discussion.
We are having a nice conversation.
I know, but you're coming in hot with these.
Guys, he's fine. It's just
I'm getting a little violent right now. Let's just, we're trying to find resolution
we
with
talk
all
about the
new
back
players
truck, though,
in
for a
this
second?
game.
That sounds kind of
You
neat.
just called him a liar. That wasn't very nice.
He told me I
Half
was
the
the
players in this game are all new. So let's
Fine.
try and figure it out. I'd like also to hear Flora's opinion on this
In
too.
fairness, this is, I've been here since day one, and this has been very aggravating
Yes.
for me as well.
It's been aggravating just trying
Without
to catch
question.
up on all
So,
of this because I see
I
contradicting
think-
information everywhere.
We need to keep it civil, but
Yes.
everybody has to understand
Yes.
that this has not
But
gone anywhere near according
I'd like to
plan.
also get Flora's opinion on this too, as someone that kind of does work with restoration projects too.
I don't work
But-
on the restoration,
but-
I work in restore areas, that is different.
Still,
It's just
just-
like, I want like to clarify my expertise.
But maybe you have some guidance or ideas on how to.
No, what I was looking at is that the proposal, this remediation proposal, is like from 2023. Is that
So
right?
the proposal was 2022, the interview report that we paid for was that we did was 2023.
Yeah.
And we paid for
So
it, so.
it's a long time, and in this amount of time, like you have like that, the sedimentation, the movement,
No.
the regeneration, the natural regeneration of that, the bottom of the pond. So what it was proposed in 2022, 2023 may not be applicable to what will be the best for the pond today. And that's kind of like my concern. Like when you have like the sedimentation, what it does is kind of like flattens out. So then you like lose all that microhabitat, like the rugosity of the bottom. So but then like a lot of time passed, and these areas, depending on where you are, like it might regenerate faster, and like you see like there was like some organic matter in some areas, and it's all patchy. So I'm not sure that enforcing to do this now is the best approach, because that was the best approach more than 3 years ago. So that's kind of like my concern. It's am I saying like not to do anything? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that but I think it has to be probably reevaluated what it has to be done for the conditions today. That's kind of like my point.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I just don't know what the answer is.
And that's kind of like the thing. It's like, what is the? We are not the restoration
What about this
expert.
fact
It's
check
like creating more micro.
That's
I
the
don't
root
know.
canal.
What's that?
So
That's the root canal.
let me maybe jump forward,
Yeah.
because when, as I said, we the three of us walked back down there and poked around and tried to come up with a solution. So what we were kind of kicking around, and we haven't flushed this all out, but if you think about where the pipe comes out, there's let me, if you don't mind, let me grab my notebook, because I made some little sketch. Get this as accurate as I can. So the pipe, the flow from the pipe comes out, there's about 30 feet or so of channel that comes pretty much straight out the pipe. At that point, the channel then splits, there's two arms, there's kind of left and the right arm, I'll call it, of much smaller channels. So our thought, again, we were just kicking around, and I should say, within that, so the two channels come out, and then the right arm then kind of turns around. So it kind of defines a triangle, 20 or 30 foot in each dimension triangle, bounded by these channels that are, 2, maybe 3 feet wide. So within those areas, there's soft material on the order of 6 inches over very firm gravel underneath. So clearly the gravel was, the existing material, because the gravel and cobbles didn't, there's no way they would have made it there. So we know that, that was what the glaciers put there. So what we were kicking around is within that area. So again, this would be, so if you think that the channel comes out and then it wides, and then there's a vegetated, wet meadow area in this triangle. So our thought was, if we were to go and vector that material out, so what it would require is, people with shovels to scrape up the material on top of the gravel, suck it out with the vector, again, so you don't beat up the rest of the wetland and the slope going up and down, down to the gravel. Now, that would only be about 6 inches thick, because, again, I'm sorry?
About over how much of an area?
We estimated the volume around 3 cubic yards. It's like a 24, 15
Yeah,
triangle. It was about three, at 6 inches
two
depth.
200 or 300 square feet, as a rough number. That's, again, shooting from the hip.
That'd be great.
But
And those are like in the areas where you've seen the deposits, or because you said that they were all patchy, so that you were sampling.
yeah,
so
it's
in those
patchy.
areas that
This
you
is
sample.
this is. You know what? Let me take your note here, and so you have. I'll pick this up in a minute and show you. So you have the culvert comes out. There's channel, and then there's an arm that goes kind of like that. And then there's an arm that goes like that. And then I think they join down here, don't they? The two channels join at that point?
Yeah, right, yeah.
I think they,
Yeah, exactly.
so, oops. My lovely drawing here. So this is the culvert coming out. I'm sorry?
See it, right?
I can see.
Okay, so this is the culvert coming out. This channel here is roughly 8 feet wide. So what we're talking about, and then at this point, after about 30 feet, it splits. So the flow goes here, and then here, and here. So this area all in here is all vegetated. This is where I'm talking about.
Take that out.
And again, this is, see, this is the area where, there's on the order of 6 inches of material that I can easily auger through, and then it's just like really bony gravel. That you push through.
Will that do what Judith was talking about, where take the delta away and give it another?
This is what this will do, and what I was talking about, and again, we need to kind of flesh this out, but what I was thinking about is to do this area, but to leave some vegetated area all the way around the perimeter of these channels, so as not to blow into the channels themselves. Just I'm thinking just like a foot or so.
Sure.
Just to leave that vegetated along the channel, but within here, within this I'm calling the triangle, within that triangle, to remove that down to the gravel.
That would make me really happy.
Okay. And I think that's generally consistent with what Judy was kind of floating.
Yeah.
She.
I didn't even understand the logic of what she was saying until she said it. I didn't know.
Yeah, so, and what, just so you know, what I expect to happen here is this, because this again is, straight shot from the culvert. So that culvert is gonna bring down leaves and organic matter and some other material from road sand and whatnot. My expectation is that because we're clearing this out, this is, and I believe this was Judy's intent, we're gonna create a preferential deposition area for future material to come in here.
Yeah.
I believe that's what she was after.
Yeah, that's what she was talking about.
So,
Great.
So-
Sign it and give it her. There you go. See, look at that. I like it.
But we have to, we haven't, you didn't have a chance to call about the Vector truck, did you?
Yeah, I didn't get an answer
Yeah.
yet, but yeah.
But like I said, part of the issue is not creating collateral damage.
Right.
you
That's
know,
my
and-
biggest concern.
And that's why, you know,
Yeah.
that's why we came up with the idea of the Vector to minimize that.
Makes
You know,
sense.
it's an expensive piece of equipment to, you know, to have, but, you know, when it works, it's a good idea.
How
So,
long do you think it would take you to kind of put a plan together?
make this a little better.
Yeah.
3 weeks, a month and a half?
No, I don't know.
Because I'm thinking
A
if
week or two, I think. We
for,
gotta, you know, we'd have to figure out about the Vector and
Yeah.
and that sort of thing.
if for our next week, if, you know, if you can get that together, I can prepare a draft of a revised enforcement order for the commission to review at the next meeting,
When is the next meeting?
16th of June.
Do,
But I'd want to work with you on that to make sure that we're getting the processes and everything right, so I have that verbiage correct in a draft enforcement order that they could then vote on for the meeting on the 16th that says this is the new enforcement order. There's
Right,
still
we've
an
also-
there's still an open certificate of compliance, and that order of conditions technically expires June 21st.
let's not do the 16th, and for the primary reason, Ed's gonna be on vacation.
Yep, so let's
Let's
plan
do
on
that on
doing it
July
on the
9th.
9th.
And Carson's gone too, isn't he?
Yeah, so we also have the natural heritage there too.
We'll push this forward.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have to
Run it by
submit to
law,
them.
but my intent will be to give you something, it's not gonna be fancy, it's not gonna be a plan that Corey's gonna be able to stamp, but it should be clear.
But it'll be clear, and then I can work with you to,
And
on
a
process.
document that hopefully you guys can reference and say, yeah, do that.
Yeah, no,
And,
Okay.
Sounds great.
that's just what I was looking for.
okay.
Yeah. Are you going to be satisfied if there isn't a group site visit before we meet, or are you okay? Or do you need to see it? Nick, do you need to see it? Because I don't want, like,
Oh, you
you
mean, do I need to
did
see
get
the
to
site?
see it. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I mean, I know the area pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get where you guys are coming from, so.
You should swing by and look at.
Park on that nice new parking lot on River Road, go take a little walk.
I was there too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it was.
So we don't need to
fun.
formalize that.
It's on
Okay.
public
No.
land.
All right. Well, I'm just
Okay.
trying to think through
So
all
then-
the.
Regarding-
They actually got a pretty good picture.
Regarding
Oh, yeah, okay, I
the
see, yeah, I see.
stormwater
So I'm standing with
structures.
my back to the culvert.
Yeah.
I'm standing with my back to the culvert here, basically where the wider stream splits. So this,
About a half hour.
you can kind of see the
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
triangle.
That's the clean out area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that triangle right in the middle is the triangle, my lovely little picture.
Perfect. Thank you, sorry.
So then in the meantime, if we're not coming back to this, the order of conditions is going to be expired for the installation of the stormwater structures
Say that
for the
again,
camp. So the order of conditions that is for the stormwater structures
Yeah.
at the campground will be expired by that July meeting.
So, okay, so have we already gone past the tolling period? Can we-
That's with the tolling period.
Yeah,
It
so-
expires
so we're-
June, this
we're not
June.
al- We're not allowed to issue a 6-month extension just to cover ourselves? Past-
Can.
I was gonna ask that, yeah, could we
Can.
request a short extension just to?
Yeah,
I mean, we don't,
6 months, it
the
gives us 3
commission
months.
the commission can vote to
So-
grant a 6-month extension
the
for
heritage
that, so
might
it doesn't
restrict when
expire.
We can do the work
Oh,
with the
yeah,
turtles.
Because that's just my
that's a good
concern,
point.
is
Maybe
if,
Judith said they would be instant.
Well, yeah, I guess if you have a turtle monitor, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on the
Yeah.
actual.
Is 6 months sufficient?
I would say
That guys
so.
would work for you guys, or?
We could call her.
All right, so.
Just 'cause, I mean, she's probably satisfied, but just at the off chance that they need to change anything on that, we want them to have a valid order of conditions to be able to do anything. So my
So-
recommendation would be that if the commission can vote to issue a 6-month extension for the DEP file number 300-1102.
All right, I'd
Can
like
we
to,
do it less than 6 months? Because 6 months will make it in the middle of the winter, and we can go into cycle number 19.
well, but to the 3 months, doesn't get us to the end of the summer.
What do you want?
No, I was just looking at the calendar.
Well, can't we, do they have to do it within that 3 months? Is that what we're saying?
There might not be, no, this is just for the stormwater. This isn't for this. The sedimentation is under an enforcement order.
Okay.
So that's
That's something
that
else, okay.
process. But if we're not voting to close the order of conditions for the stormwater structures, which is the superseding order that Judith is closing out, you don't have to close out the enforcement order and the certificate of
Well,
compliance.
you know
can
what, there's
close-
nothing
but-
telling us we get to 3 months, we can't extend it another 3 months. So let's just do 3 months, we'll compromise, Ed and I can compromise, that's what we do, right?
Let's make it 4 then.
4, all right, I would like to make a motion with regards to the project at 30 River Road, DEP file number 300-1102, that we issue a 4-month extension on this order of conditions.
And then we will reconvene on September 9th or September
July
9th, July 9th.
Yes.
To review a revised enforcement order.
That works
And
out.
in the meantime, I'll work with Paul and Corey to draft that up for what the procedure would be, so we have something ready to present to you all on that day, based on the discussion we just had.
We probably need a second and a vote on my motion, though.
Second.
Discussion?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
And German in favor.
So our goal on this is to get this done as soon as possible, to get this wiped out and off the table.
I think that's
Still got-
everybody,
we still gotta
I think
work-
that's everybody's goal.
We still gotta work with the National Heritage, whatever else, get their permission.
We can start those conversations now, sooner than later.
Yeah. I did see someplace that, he showed me earlier that the turtle thing was until October 15th or something.
Right. Usually the restrictions are around that time. Usually it's like October to April.
We'll figure that out. If it's a headache, just deal with it. But
Yep.
I don't wanna get under with lights in the middle of the night and take care of it, that's for sure.
With you.
Oh, you really having problems with them? Turtles?
There's turtles over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Oh, no, I know that.
I had 2 of them fighting last year.
I'm sure they weren't mating.
Nah, they were shaking each other's head, and then one had his head or mouth in the other, and they were.
That's awesome.
I threw a little pebble at him and yelled at him, and they went this way.
That's awesome.
All right.
Kids, you know.
Thank you all for your time.
we got a plan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
We'll be in touch.
I think that was a successful root canal. That went well.
Thank you, everyone.
To think, we approved Dr. Mahmood's procedure and had 2 root canals in the same meeting, so
Great.
doing tremendous.
So now we're at 28 Long Avenue.
This was for an addition and some paver patios on an existing house within the riverfront area. Project was done slightly smaller than planned. The addition was the same size, but the paver patios and the walkways were smaller than what was proposed. There was a planting plan, everything was done. There's also a lot more vegetation that was also added. So it's a very heavily green site around the structure. No signs of erosion, site's stable, I have no concerns. Recommendation to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions noted.
With regards to the project at 28 Long Avenue, DEP file number 300-1051, I'd like to make a motion to approve and issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 44 and 45.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Favor.
Yeah.
111 Shore Drive, request for certificate of compliance.
So this is a very old project. It actually came up because the current property owner is looking to fix their deck, and I found this old order of conditions that was two owners prior in 2004 from a raise and rebuild. There were no perpetual conditions. It was a very, very basic order of conditions, but the site's stable and the footprint looks like what matches the plan, so recommendation to close this out.
Yeah, we used to write with stone in those days.
I was gonna say, Ed, but Ed, this was your 20-year anniversary on the Conservation Commission. Wasn't it 84
right,
you
yeah,
started?
you're right.
With regards to the project at 111 Shore Road, DEP file number 300-587, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with no perpetual conditions.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Gravel in favor?
Eric Aspar in favor.
Great. Two in favor, I said it already. So any other business? Consideration of appropriation of 6396 of wetland funds for the FY '27 to support the role of an assistant conservation agent, 260 hours.
So this,
Made that pay tonight, you know?
so this supports 5 hours per week of Lori's salary. So that's how we're able to have her
Yep.
a little bit more in the week. You guys vote on this every year, so it goes to you, and then so a select board has to vote on it on Monday. So please vote on it so we can keep Lori.
Yeah, aye.
Nick
I'm in
Gravel in
favor.
favor?
Eric Aspar in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. Number 14, review possible action on application. Variance, temporary deck at 132 Lake 9 for Mike Foley pursuant to...
Is this the project from last year?
What?
Sorry?
Is this the project from last year where they?
This is new the property owner, the person that bought Randy's old house before I built the new one. So as you all may recall, there was a modification to the permitting process for temporary docks under the select board, that they do not need to apply for a temporary dock permit every year. You only need to apply if you do not meet the regulations as they're outlined by the harbor master. So when a variance is requested, the applicant, we request that the applicant provides us an explanation as to why they need this modification, and then it comes before the commission for us to review to see if we believe that there would be a negative impact and make a recommendation to the select board. So in this case, the maximum, I provided a copy of the permit application and the detailed agenda, which also shows the requirements, but the dock is 5 feet longer than what is allowable. It is a shallow area, but the primary reason for the length of the dock is because of the length of the pontoon boat to be able to go out and access. It's an open area and kind of has some berms in that area. Since it's only in for Memorial Day to November, I don't anticipate a negative impact, and I'd rather someone have access to maintain their boat in a situation where there might be an incident.
Regardless of how long it is?
It's not going across the lake, Ed.
If it was permanent, Ed, it could go what, 1/3 of the way across the lake?
No, you go all the way across.
No, I think there's.
All the way.
Well,
All right,
this one seems like an easy one for me. I'd like
Yeah,
to make a
me
motion to approve the additional 5 feet for the temporary dock.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Nick Gravel in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Benjamin in favor.
All right, so we're at, what, agent update?
Yep.
Update on violations and enforcement.
Okay. So prior to me getting super sick, I did a hard dive on some outstanding violations and enforcement orders to try and figure out where we are with some of them. Some I had notes, some I didn't, so I've had to do some outreach to try and figure out. There was a decent amount of the older ones that we've made some progress, but then it kind of just falls off. So I kind of updated my spreadsheet here. Obviously, we kind of talked about 32 Mount Dan today. 320 The Trail is the one where they had the unauthorized well. They're working on the NOI. They've been staying in touch with me for those processes. 118 Lead Mine Lane is one obviously that we're still working on. That was the enforcement order that was corrected, and then the new property owner went and undid all of that. So they have a copy of the plan and are working towards that. And my recommendation, sorry, was if there's anything that they're looking to permanently modify, that they need to come before us. 48 Bushnell, we're at a point now that we're kind of just observing and making sure that they're maintaining that area as what was approved for the restoration plan. Same with 19 Liberty Lane. They did the replantings. We're just waiting on ensuring survival, which hopefully we'll be able to close that out this spring. The 392 Main Street, Burgess School Road one, this is one that kind of got a little bit mixed up in here because of the requirements of the enforcement order that required that the plantings be done by a professional, and the hired consultant and property owner parted ways. Then we've all been exploring a better opportunity where, since the destruction of property was technically done to town property, of trying to find some negotiation of basically that the person that cut down all the trees on the town property would pay the town for the damages for the town to be able to go and plant them, so that way we can oversee this project and manage our own property, which I think is in our personal interest. So we're trying to look at those numbers and also working with our DPW to figure out what the cost of labor would be to have our DPW go and plant all those trees as what was approved for the enforcement plan. 413 Main Street, this is an older one. There was a slope failure in that parking lot behind the cheese shop and near Sturbridge Coffee.
Yep.
So I reached out to Scott Morrison, who was working with Ecotech at the time. Obviously, he does not work with Ecotech anymore, but I did reach out to him just since he had been working on the project, and also McClure Engineering. And it's just one of those ones that the work was done, the work was completed, and then there was supposed to be some monitoring and reporting to make sure that it's stable, and it kind of just drifted away. So they're revisiting this site, and they're going to provide us a final report, but they had been doing their regular 6-month inspections that they were supposed to do. So at this point, it's kind of just doing another inspection and making sure that everything is the way that it was 3 years ago, and that they've maintained it since then. So hopefully this is something that we can close out within the next few months here.
Great.
And that's kind of everything that's currently open, which is good.
Good.
Really, the only thing that's active that we're waiting on plans are these top two, the Mount Dan and the 320, the trail, and then trying to work through those. So that's kind of where I was deep diving before I got sick, and then I'll pick that back up again and reach back out to the people that called me while I was out.
With regard to Mount Dan,
Yep.
are they gonna come back with a plan? from
Yeah,
an
that's the
engineer?
people that were here today.
I know.
Yeah, they're gonna submit a plan, and then they are filing an RDA.
So my conversation with them happened within like the last 3 days.
Yeah.
And so I was corresponding with her a bunch. And so she just got the RDA application. And given the situation, I was like, you should come before the commission, because I wasn't sure, you know, what your response might be, and how compliant they were. And everything is pointing to they really want to work with us, and they, yeah, are really embarrassed by what happened. So from everything that she's told me via email, I do think she's going to submit that RDA application. Because she made it a point to send in the tree removal application with her site plan to Lauren before Lauren had a deadline, which was like really quick after the violation fee was due. So she's been like on top of it since she's gotten the notice for the violation.
Good.
Yeah.
I think we should replace those with like 5-inch diameter trees. I don't think I'm serious. We
My
really
only
need,
concern with like the amount of trees removed is like all the active roots that are still there, because you know it takes years for them to break down. So it's like, how many viable spots do we have at this point? Because it's going to be years until you can really put in a ton of trees.
Is it there? I mean, if we can do it, I don't know how much we want to make people do stuff, but depending on how small some of those trees were and stuff, you could even rip them, you could rip the whole root system out.
They were all big
They're
from
all
the
pretty
photos.
big.
Yeah, they were.
They looked massive, I know, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's a
unfortunate.
tough one. I do feel sometimes too, honestly, contractors, just even I know when I was younger, not to get into anything, but like, you know, even though I known, trained and stuff, sometimes people just don't know, and I don't know how to
But
get
just look
them
at
to
how
know
easy it
better.
is. If you don't want it there,
No, what I'm trying to say is
You
more,
don't want
it's
it
more
there.
the 100-foot compared to like being in Sturbridge and being
Yeah.
the 200-foot. That's all I'm talking about. And
yeah,
I'm sorry if I
with
wasn't clear about that.
Absolutely, on that I could agree.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that's like, and a lot of those look like they're within 100 feet, to be honest.
One was right on the water, and then while you were guys discussing it, I looked up the company, and they're from Charlton, and they work in Brookfield. So I feel
And
like
there's
they
no
just
rules
have
in
to be
Brookfield.
aware.
You're talking about Sweets, the guy, or was it a different company?
Yeah, the same company.
Yeah, I mean, I have my own opinion about just because I've seen what he does and stuff. I'm not sure if he really knows the tree industry well. It's just that he might have. bought
There's a
bucket truck.
lot of
You know what I'm saying?
landscapers that are
That's what I
popping up left and right, and most of them are young kids in their 20s.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
new landscaping business that I'm seeing on Facebook every week, and they have no idea what they're doing, and they make these claims on their businesses that they can do landscaping design and tree removal,
sure.
and it's literally just some kid that did some work in high school
Or
that
someone's
now
worked
is
for
running a
Northern.
business, but
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
have, they don't know what they're doing.
know much other
They
than
don't
like-
know there's rules and regulations, they don't, yeah.
You know what I mean?
They don't know what they're doing, so it's, you
So
know,
I don't know how, but to go to that, like, I don't know what our best, how to get it out there. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
So
Like,
when I worked in Spencer, I sent a letter to a bunch of landscaping and tree removal companies that were in Spencer and the abutting towns. That was a really general, friendly letter that kind of just said, hey, you do some service in Sturbridge. We just want to let you know that these rules exist. Please know that if you're doing work within these areas, that your client can be held liable and face possible fines, and also that this can kind of go on you too if they choose. So
Sure.
please work with with us. When in doubt, call us. We can help you figure out if there's a resource area somewhere around you. It was pretty effective because I did start getting calls from tree removal companies that I had never heard from. So we can try and work on something like that. I can actually just ask my old clerk for that letter that I sent, and we can update it and modify it and do something similar. But that might not be a bad one.
'cause that's like, yeah, with his stuff.
But like I said,
That's like an
these
old utility
there's new
truck.
businesses
Yeah,
popping up
that's
every
because
day.
I follow that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, he had a
I
jump-
always
whisper chipper, you know what I'm
questioned
saying? So I was like, okay, I don't even sure how much
As over as that,
does, 'cause I think he bought it.
it's not a one-day job, and there are people that live all around them, and it is time where people are in those cottages.
And you think it's just,
Nobody said anything to them? I don't
No
believe
one, no, they did, but no one wants to be the one to rat on their neighbor because they know that it's gonna come back to them because they asked the question. This is what, I've been told specifically. I saw the tree company that was there, I asked them if they filed with conservation, and they said, what's conservation? But I'm not going to be the one to call because they'll know that it was me and I have to live with these people. It's the same reason that we can't get anybody that lives on the lake to join the commission, because they don't want their neighbors to turn against them.
I think you're being a little bit simplistic, you know, I really, well,
I'm just telling you, these are specific things that people have told
and
me.
Donna Grell asked me what the hell was going on over there.
she said it wasn't him, but I'm not assuming it.
Yeah, but also she wouldn't give us an address, we tried to work with
It's
her,
Mount Dan Road, it's not.
and she wouldn't give us any more information.
She didn't have any more. She
Oh,
just
that's
went over to
crazy,
see a friend.
actually.
She doesn't live over there.
It's crazy. I think it looks like it is, doesn't it?
All right, so
Pine's just like they took.
I'm gonna run through the rest of this because it's 9 o'clock and
Go ahead.
Lori's got some stuff too, but, we had a meeting with Luke not that long ago, talking about, the site visit that we did at Kerboy, and his recommendation is that we schedule an executive session for everyone to just talk about what we saw, what we would like to see, and what's next before they present a certificate of compliance. So I'd like to schedule that. That can
How did the
literally.
meeting go with the magistrate?
I have to go back and look at it, but I think that there was some mixed reviews. I have to call Luke tomorrow.
Yeah.
but,
First thing, what did?
but let's talk about it in executive session. So that way, what I'd like to schedule a day to do that. Literally can be any time, and it's an executive session, so it, you know, it's posted, but it's private. So that can even be virtual or the middle of the day or whatever. But I'd like to find a time that we can all kind of just sit and talk about for those that were on site
Yeah.
and just those that saw the photos of what we saw and what we would kind of expect next, because they are going to try and come forward with a certificate of compliance, and I want to kind of have things ready before we go to that.
Which address is this? Were you talking
71 Mashapog. So is there a day that we can schedule an executive session to talk about the observations?
If it's virtual, I can do it virtually anytime, but I am traveling the week of the 8th, so I will not be
Around
there.
next week?
Next week I'm around, yeah.
Yeah, I can do next,
Next week?
except for Thursday morning.
I have evening events next week, but I mean, but again,
Maybe.
virtual meeting, I can hop on.
Are you
anytime.
gonna be behind the White House in the main event?
No. Oh my God. Don't get me started. But
At first, I thought that was an AI thing when I saw
yeah,
that.
no, there's a bunch of concerts next week I need to be at, so.
Oh, cool. Oh,
And-
yeah, for school.
For
Yeah.
school.
I was gonna say, I'm at, wait a
I
second.
can do Monday afternoon, I can do pretty much anything on Wednesday, and I can do Thursday afternoon.
You guys can just give it
Wednesday.
to me, I can make things work.
Yep.
I just need
Was that a no or a yes?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
good.
Wednesday, what time?
What time?
You tell me, I've got afternoon open.
In the afternoon.
1 p.m.,
Yeah, that's good.
2 p.m.,
Let's see.
any of those times is
Third.
fine, I'll
If
make it
it's come
work,
out of
that's
school,
fine.
that's
1
better for
p.m.
me.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. is good.
All right, I'll send that up, and I do have to post an agenda for it, but it's virtual and closed,
Say at 1, you
so.
said? Okay.
1 o'clock?
1 p.m.
Do we think it will take more than 30 minutes?
I hope not.
Okay. Then
Okay.
I could come in person or do
We can do both.
Yeah, I might even, yeah, I can do any time now if I do it.
at
That's
1
true.
o'clock. I can do. So I just have a 2 o'clock. that I have
Do you
to
want
be
in
at.
person, or do you want virtual?
Generally easier in person, but
I can
Or
be here in person, that's fine.
in person? Okay, let's do it, 1 p.m. on June 3rd. Let's do it, across the street. In the, which one's that one? Julian room?
Julian room.
That's
yeah.
on this TV.
Where's that, is that upstairs or something?
Back.
yeah.
In the back, okay.
All the way to the back.
All right, I'll get that set up. Updated drought status.
Oh boy, our favorite topic.
As always, it rains the day after they make a declaration, but we're in a level 2 drought, critical, level 2 drought, significant. It's supposed to be raining for the rest of the weekend, but reconvene in a month. Obviously, when it comes to new submissions, paying attention to wetland delineations, as they may not always represent the most accurate, what's the word I'm looking
Everybody
for?
should go to that June
Conditions.
10th.
Yep, that's my next thing. Dowdy master plan. So we accepted this property. We're working with Par Corporation to develop a master plan. So prior to anything being done, no approvals are getting done for anything. But as part of this is a public process that we want everyone really involved in. It is on June 10th at 6 p.m. at Town Hall to just bring your ideas of what you would like to see at that property. Obviously, there's going to be limitations because there's no town water, town sewer out that way. You know, there's not a conservation restriction or a natural heritage area, but everyone's going to bring their ideas to the table, and we'll be taking all of that information to actually compile for a master plan, so that way, once that document is put forward, we'll be able to start pursuing grants to try and make some of those dreams realities. I know that there's been a lot of sharing around. I know that I got an email from lacrosse and from football. I think I got one from football, right? I think they sent one out about, so the rec leagues are doing a lot to try and get people to go, because obviously fields are a big deal. but no matter what your idea is, bring it forward. I'd personally love to see some out-of-the-box things too, and just new ways to kind of use open space that is, you know, revitalizing. But I'll be there for that. Still working on our Plimpton master plan. We'll most likely have to extend that contract because the conversations with Natural Heritage have been very, very, very slow moving. And then still working on our lead mine stewardship plan. There was a little hiccup with that because our contractor had babies earlier than expected. So a little hiccup for their family, but we're back on track and trying to move things along quickly. But same thing, we may have to do an extension on that. Everyone, when that was, you guys were all on site visit the other day, so you got a chance to meet Heather's stormwater intern. I forgot his name already. But he's going to be the one that's kind of doing the lake project that I wanted to do, with Jacqueline as well. I think Jacqueline's going to be helping him with it and going in, and, you know, us when we're available, going into all of these lakes, by kayak or boat, and basically documenting any areas where water's coming in or out of the lake, whether that's culvert infrastructure, whether it's erosion coming from private property, any area that we're seeing things entering the lake, we're going to be documenting all of them. If it's private property and it's something that's concerning, it's going to be a way for us to inventory that, to be able to hopefully work with private property owners to stabilize their areas or whatever the issue is. If it's infrastructure, being able to kind of see what that condition is to be able to prioritize things that need to be replaced, whether it's our own infrastructure or DOT or anything like that. So this is going to be a really good project to hopefully give us some more ideas of where sediment's coming in, where contaminants are coming in, and try and work towards improving those areas. We talked about Cedar Lake today. Obviously, we know that's in rough shape. Andrew needs to apply for a notice of intent to do some hydro raking activity at the wreck because it hasn't been done in a couple years. So with that, my recommendation was just to file a whole notice of intent for any activity that would be needed to maintain the wreck. Also, even though we just had town meeting, we're coming up to that point of the year where we all have to start preparing our budgets for next town meeting. And one thing that he and I are going to present for a betterment request is funding to put an aeration system in that cove. We've already got some different quotes and talked about kind of what those processes look like. There's fancy ones with fountains and lights, but really just a simple aeration system to keep the water moving, because I genuinely believe that's going to make a difference in what's going on in that stagnant water area. We're seeing more algae blooms. All the lakes are coated in pollen right now, and our temperatures are going like this, so I think it's going to be a wild year. So trying to think ahead of anything we can do to try and work with these areas. When we were on site at River Road today, I was actually talking to Archie about the benthic barriers, because they have a vegetation management plan there to treat that pond, and I had recommended, let's take a look and see how that goes, because that might be even more affordable for the camp since they just have that swimming area. But I'd love to see something like that at the wreck, depending on how that goes with Big Alum. So trying to do more out-of-the-box thinking. Also, I'm trying to do some outreach to car washes in the area, which we don't have a lot of, but trying to find more ways to promote boat washing. None of the lakes have a boat washing station. The state is not looking to put any of those in right now. There's a lot of different ways that you can do a boat washing station on site, but they all, have expenses of various needs, and if it's a state-owned boat ramp, they have to be on board to do that. So, but if we can just find a way to work with some of the local businesses in town, car washes at Big Bunny, whatever the one on the other edge of town is, and then posting that information by the ramps of saying, hey, you just finished, head down over here and get your boat washed to help reduce the spread of invasive species. Try and work more on that. And then I'm going to turn it over to Lori to talk about the projects that she's working on.
So when I read the open space plan when it first was brought to my desk, I was looking through it and I noticed a gap in one of the goals that we haven't had an urban tree inventory done in an extremely long time. So I got permission from Lauren and Jean from zoning to start working on their ArcGIS, and I created some data sets in the survey to start the ball rolling. So like that's the biggest project that I have going on right now. So Tony and I are gonna go out next week and do like a trial run inventory, and I already have a volunteer from UMass who's like really excited from their GIS hub, and UMass is going to pay them one way or another, which is kind of great from their funding to help volunteer with us. So I got that going on. And then I also started UMass's pollinator stewardship certificate a couple weeks ago, because so many applicants asked me like what mitigation they should go for in relation to native species. I've been really interested in figuring out like what gaps we have in Sturbridge when it comes to recommendations, because we know a lot about like flowering dogwood and it supports like over 100 species, but it's like what species? I know I'm gonna bring that up because that's like I don't know about the flowering dogwood, but like we have the Cosa dogwood in town and it supports 0 native species, and so the flowering dogwood over 100, that's great. However, we have a ton of pollinators like specialized bees. Like there's one in particular called, let me see here. Where is it? A fragile dogwood miner, and because it's specialized, it only likes particular types of dogwood, like gray dogwood and red osier dogwood, which are both native to Massachusetts, and they're more shrubby because of where they like to host and have their babies. So I'm really excited about the certification to learn more about like the specialists when it comes to pollinators that I haven't been recommending the species for, and then I can, let you guys know when I learn more about what the specialists need in Sturbridge, so we can cater to them and not just the generalist when it comes to species. So yeah, those are the 2 things I got going on right now.
Cool. Love it. Love it.
Perfect.
Out of curiosity, since you're working so closely with all our friends at the lakes, did you happen to send a message out to Slack about what we looked at last meeting, which was our town bylaw specifically states that you have to be, that Slack is a membership of people that are on the other lake commissions?
Yep.
Or,
I did bring that forward, and on their next agenda, they're reviewing the charter as all, too. Because he wants to modify that anyway.
the town charter?
The charter for Slack, yeah.
Yeah, but that's built
But it's
into
in
the
the
town.
bylaw, right.
Yeah, so.
So I did bring that to the attention.
Bring that to town meeting.
Yep. So the problem with it right now is that select board does the appointments. So it's gonna come up as reappointments are coming up too.
Well,
Are you a member
so
of the Lake Association?
Robin aware and.
Yep, I brought it to her attention as well. I mean, it's probably.
I'm
I
just
don't
trying to.
want to publicly say anything bad,
We're
but it's
creating
probably
a
one of those things
situation
that it's
where there's
on her
infighting.
radar, but she might forget about it until it comes up again. But yes,
We can't
it has been-
support infighting is
it
what
has
is
been
what-
addressed.
Awesome.
But also Chuck's trying to revamp all of these lake associations too, because, right
the
now,
population.
Bala's the most involved one, and we can't even figure out who the lake association president is for Walker Pond. No one can tell me.
This is the first time I've even seen anything about us having
Yeah.
a meeting.
The
which kinda
person that
stinks.
I've emailed it always gets returned, or if there's been concerns on Walker Pond Association land, I just tell Heather, because that's the only person
Well,
that I know.
there's a lot of
But
yeah.
it's just, it keeps moving, and the person that was doing it is not, because then there's also Walker Pond, then there's the Walker Pond Road Association, and those things are getting confused, but there's gonna be a culvert replacement coming up on Walker Pond too, that we want the lake more involved in, but they're not as active, and then also, they're not, asking for the funding, and then they get upset when Bala's getting $20,000 towards a study. Who are you calling in the middle of the meeting at 9:30?
I'm calling to find out who the president is. Walk-upon, you said it about 9 times in this meeting.
Sleeping.
Somebody over there.
He's a man of action.
Jeez, don't call me ever at 9:30 at night.
No, I'm
Unless someone's dying.
in bed.
So that's, yeah.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
we've got probably not really anything on the liaison reports right now because we just had town meeting in Slack, but there's meeting minutes, and then you guys picked a meeting date, and then we need to pick site visit date of either June 3rd or June 10th. But
June 3rd, better for me. June 10th, I'm out of town. So, depends on what's on. If I don't need to
I
be
have-
there.
What is June 10th for what? Sorry.
June 3rd for site visits.
Oh, June 3rd?
I think we have 5 or 6 new projects. And then the meeting minutes.
Yeah. All right, so the minutes of March 19th and April 16th, I was here for both of them, so I'd like to make a motion to approve, it looks like, let's see, you missed the 19th. And the 16th? Did you miss two?
No, there's one of those you showed. There's one of those that's like from a different.
No, the 16th?
March 19th, 2025.
Oh, 2025. Why do I have minutes from 2025? Okay.
Yeah, I noticed
All
that.
right. But you weren't
Is
here.
it 2025 or is it a typo, do you think?
I don't know.
What are we doing here?
Is that the, our template says 2025, so might have been a typo.
Is this one?
Yeah, because you were there.
Yeah.
And you were not here.
Do you remember which one you were at? I suppose we only need 3 to approve them, so.
Yeah,
we're
this,
fine.
this just happened in March. Yeah, so that's supposed to be 26.
All right. So, with regards to the minutes
Make that correct.
for March 19th, 2025, I'd like to make a motion to change the date on the minutes to 2026. But other than that, I'd like to I'd like to approve them.
Second, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Oh, this was the special meeting.
Wait, is Nick abstaining, or were you in favor?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
He
wasn't
wasn't
there.
here because he couldn't vote because this was the special meeting.
That was
the
a
one-
Grabboy.
The one issue meeting. That's why. All right, and with regards to the minutes of April 16th, 2026, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
I don't think so.
Favor?
I was.
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Goodwin in favor?
Someone in favor.
It's the day after tax day. Where were you?
I was hiding
We
somewhere.
were hiding from us?
I don't know.
All right.
Wait, so abstaining?
Sure.
Sure, okay.
Sorry. Karsten's not here, so I'm just going to do Karsten's thing.
I'm changing the date. June 16th is the next meeting. Ed, you're not going to be here. Everyone else is going to be here.
So Karsten's not going to be
We
here.
know Karsten's still gone then?
I think so.
Isn't he missing like 3 meetings in a row? Is that what he said?
I know, I'll try and tell you whenever I know when Carson's not gonna be here, but he's not my pet. You know, I'm not, you know.
You are his keeper. And July 9th, is everyone going to be here? Because it's beginning of the fiscal year, so we'll do board reorganization again.
Perfect. I don't know if he said June, he sent something, July 11th he's
Okay.
coming back, or was it, maybe he said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and I gave you guys a template, or little pamphlet on RBs of mass and what plants specifically match up to each one. So, have fun looking at that.
All right.
Always be learning.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn us?
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
All right. In favor?
Hey. Thank you very much